make it possible for life to exist, and that make it possible for the planets to revolve around the sun at the exact rate that they do, for the exact spin with the exact gravitational pull, and the number of different circumstances are the ones that God created, and we can use science and evidence to prove these things.
What science and evidence do you have to prove these things? Because actually all you did was just state the claim, and you didn't take into account any of my response.
What was your
Like
response?
again, if
I did. I
the
said you
fine
could have.
tuning within God's mind,
Yeah,
right? Because again, if this is indicative of intelligent design, that these sets of circumstances existed for this particular reality rather than another one, well, the same thing's also true with your hypotheses, with your explanation. Okay, so again,
I
you
guess
have
you
to
don't
say that
understand.
essentially God's mind being that particular way is a brute fact. It's unexplained.
It's not that. Yes, it's unexplained because I can't fit the infinite God into my 3 pound brain. If I could do that, he wouldn't be a God worth worshiping.
Okay, well then can't we say the same thing about the universe?
About the universe, as in that things randomly exploded, which enabled us to have this
No,
conversation.
I don't believe the Big Bang is that randomly exploded. Big Bang is expansion of the universe, not an explosion. We don't know what came prior to the Big Bang, but we could posit, if we're talking about different assumptions in terms of these different models, that there was a prior state that's eternal of fundamental particles, which have the necessary properties to bring about this world and these constants, rather than other sets of
And where
constants or
would those
other
come from? Where
things.
would
They
those
always existed in the same way God always existed,
and but what are they? And why have they not made themselves known to us?
because they don't have a mind. It's
But
naturalistic.
it's naturalistic for something to have always existed.
Hmm.
But we're talking about, well, so you're saying that the universe has a beginning, right?
This part of the universe has a beginning, yeah.
And to have
But
just
like
like,
it was caused by this prior state of fundamental
and
particles.
what I'm saying, that prior state is, I'm saying, is God.
Yeah, I know you're saying that it's God. The only reason I'm even bringing up a prior state is because I'm applying the exact same assumption as you. But what I'm doing is I'm shaving off a lot of unnecessary assumptions that I don't have to hold to. I don't have to
Like
hold
what?
to the idea that God is a mind. I don't have to hold to the idea that God believes in heaven and hell, or judgment, angels and demons, the different miracles listed in the Bible. I don't have to hold on to all these other assumptions about reality to explain why we exist. And since I don't have to hold on to all these extra unnecessary assumptions, my model under this view would be more likely to be true because I have less assumptions to explain the exact same question.
No, it's not that you have less assumptions. It's you're classifying those as burdens. Whereas
They are.
for me, that's more evidence that my way of belief is more accurate, because you just say eternal forces, or whatever, eternal particles, I think is the word that you use.
Yeah, in the same way that God is eternal.
That's a scapegoat, because it's like, well, mine's easier to understand, so
It's the
therefore
same assumption.
it's more likely to be
No,
correct.
no, no, no. It's simpler doesn't mean easier to understand. Simpler means you require less assumptions to explain the exact same
So how
question or to
does
explain why we
requiring
exist
less
here.
assumptions mean that maybe it's more palatable to you,
No, no, no. It's more likely to be true because each additional assumption that you continue to add on, it would reduce the likelihood of the entirety of the proposition being
or
true.
make it
For
more
example, right?
clear?
If my claim of whether or not a God exists relies upon 8 truth claims, right? That's going to be less likely to be true than if it relies upon 3.
That's not true.
What do you
Because
mean that's not
for
true?
all 8 of those truth claims, if they come into alignment, then it's more likely that that thing exists versus doesn't exist.
See, that's assuming that we have evidence to indicate that they're in alignment, right?
Correct. That's what
The
we're
idea that I'm
talking about.
referencing is
We're
that since
talking
they're
about
all
evidence.
assumptions, hold up, since they're all assumptions and we don't have evidence for these because it's empirically unfalsifiable, right? That ends us with a statement here that again, if you have more assumptions, right, you are adding unnecessary truth values.
Okay, well,
Right. So essentially, I rely upon the same base operating assumptions that there's something that's eternal, that there's something that has the necessary properties to explain the world, right? And that's really all you have to hold to, those 2 things, right?
sure,
You hold on to like 5 or 6 different things. If I only have to hold on to 2, the same 2 that you've already established, you're just relying upon other claims being true.
But
right?
you
But
can't go
you,
on
again, the
to.
initial two that you already have, you also are assuming. So if you're assuming the same basis as I'm assuming, right, and I'm just cutting off some of your model, it's more likely to be true because you're relying upon more claims that are true that I didn't have to assume. Does that make sense?
If you had more evidence or less evidence to prove something, would it be more likely that the thing with less evidence would hold true? Because basically what you're saying
No,
is,
more likely
hold on,
derives from
hang
more
on. So
evidence.
what you're saying is we have two similar perspectives on how the formation of the universe came to be. However, you're saying, oh, I'm trimming the extra fat. Whereas the extra fat is more information to say that this had to have come from a creative mind. When I'm talking about the fine tuning of the universe, these eternal particles, how would they be able to put things in place so precisely that if anything was off, you and I wouldn't exist here?
Necessary properties to bring about this world rather than another one, the same way God has the necessary desires or properties to bring about this world rather than another one. Again, you see how it's the exact same assumption? The eternal assumption is the exact same, and the assumption about the necessary properties is the exact same. All the rest is unnecessary. So it is unnecessary baggage that you're holding on to in
Unnecessary
terms of,
how?
hold on, let me
Because
finish. It is unnecessary because, again, those assumptions, right, are not required to explain why we exist.
but you
Again,
haven't
with those two
explained it.
assumptions, you can explain.
But you haven't explained it.
I
You
did. I did fully explain it,
you're
right?
just hang on. So
It's it has the necessary properties. That's the assumption,
you're just
right? The same way that
saying,
God has the necessary properties in terms of the desires.
okay. So what you're saying is eternal particles or eternal properties. What I'm saying is, yes, God being those eternal properties, which I don't think I wouldn't boil God down to just being eternal properties, but not only that. So you're saying I'm trimming the
I
fat,
didn't
but
do
hang
that, man.
on,
You're misconstruing. Hey, I'm
don't
not gonna
let
let you
me land the
straw man.
plane.
I straw man what I just said. I literally just said
I'm
it specifically, and you just straw manned it, right? I can straw man your view over and over again. I'm not gonna do that, right? I said that the properties relate to God's desires, right? That's what I was relating to.
okay. I guess. Well, I'm not trying to straw man your argument, man. What I'm trying to do is make sense of how you're saying this. You're saying I'm trimming the fat. I believe that it's the eternal particles, and that's the logical explanation for the universe. Boom, that's where it stops. Do I have that right?
I don't think it's a sufficient explanation. I'm saying that this is a more likely explanation than you, right? Because it requires less assumptions to explain the exact same question.
But should you have more assumptions, or in this case, what we're talking about, proof and also known as evidence? When we have, of course, I know that since you don't believe in God, you don't believe in the authority that the Bible is, in my personal opinion. I believe that the Bible is the Word of God. However, but when we take the Bible and we extrapolate it for what it is, it's a book that was written over 1,500 years by hundreds of different or not, maybe not hundreds, but many, many different people from different walks of life, different time periods, and all of them not knowing each other, not knowing if the other people would be born, but when you put it all together, it all fits.
No, you're assuming your prophecies to be true, but we haven't even established that, man.
I mean, yes, I'm assuming that the prophecies are true
Hey,
based on.
these are unnecessary. Again, I was like, this is I brought up particularly like the comparison of these different models. If you want to talk about something separate, we can talk about that, right? But we were talking about the comparison of these two different explanations.
Okay, we can go back to that.
No,
Yours
dude, I
is.
don't care. I honestly don't care because I
It
don't think
doesn't
you're
matter
getting
to
it
me.
either way.
I'm ready to rumble. But it still doesn't make sense to me what you're saying though,
Okay,
because
so you have the same base operating assumptions,
which
necessary
is
properties to bring about this reality rather than another one, and that
which
it's
I know.
eternal.
Correct.
Okay. Boom.
But you
Two. I
can't
don't have to
define.
hold to the mind. I don't have to hold to the all knowing, all powerful, all good. I don't have to hold to the heaven and hell. I don't have to hold to the angels and demons. I don't have to hold to all the miracles that you list out in the Bible. I don't have to hold to other biblical claims. I don't
But
have to
it's
hold
not
to any of these
compelling.
things, and yet I can still explain the exact same question. And again, those two I already mentioned, the eternal and the necessary properties to bring this world rather than another one, exists under your model as well. So if I'm assuming the exact same things as you and you're assuming a bunch of other things, right? Mine's more likely to be true because again, right, if mine is true, or if those two assumptions are true, which are required for your to be true, then mine can be true. Yours would rely upon all these other ones being true in order for that to be the case.
Yes, but that's the
That's why.
evidence. You
That's
can't,
exactly why it's less likely to be true.
but you can't elaborate on anything. You just said you just say it's eternal particles and that's it. Oh, well, why should
That's
I
all I have to
believe you?
describe. What do I have to elaborate
Is
on?
it
Tell me.
just a trust me, bro? Just like with the
It's
last argument?
I'm
Trust me,
comparing
bro.
two models in which are assumptions. Yes, it is a trust me, bro, because we're just assuming them, right?
Okay,
It's not a trust me, bro, within the respect that I have the same base operating assumptions than you. You're just adding unnecessary ones.
but you
That can
own,
tell me it's more likely to be true than yours. But yeah, it's a trust me, bro. If I was saying it's a sufficient explanation, I
but
don't think it's a sufficient explanation. I just think it's more likely to be true than yours because it requires less assumptions. Does that make sense?
I understand what you're saying. My disagreement with that is you have two, like, if we're starting with the two foundational pillars, which I think we both agree on, but that's where yours stops. And then I can say, hey, you can go take this information and you can deduce whether you believe it to be true or not. But I have all these other things that you can go to look to prove, okay, if we both agree that these are both eternal and they both could look to the creation of the universe, your stops here and mine keeps going based on the information that we have available to us.
No, no, no. Again, mine explains the information that we have available. Mine still explains it,
How?
right? It just again necessary properties to bring about this world rather than
Yes, the
another
two
one.
foundational pillars
That
that we agree upon.
and the eternal, right? That explains if we bring up cosmological or contingency based points,
Yeah, we can
and then
bring
it
those up.
also explain what,
We can certainly bring those up.
and then explains the fine tuning. These things are literally the
It
only
doesn't
necessary
explain the fine
assumptions.
tuning.
It does
How does it
the
explain the
necessary
fine tuning?
because again it's the necessary properties to explain this reality rather than another one, the same way that you explain your fine-tuning with saying that God is the necessary desires to explain this reality rather than another one.
Okay, so you're saying the necessary property. If it doesn't have a mind, how could it design the fine tuning? You're just saying that it just
Again,
happened to be that way?
fine-tuning doesn't require intelligent design because then you would have to say that God's mind was intelligently designed.
No,
Appreciate the
but
handout, thank you so much, which you
no,
don't say
no,
because
I
God is eternal
God
and
is
God has
eternal.
always existed the same way
Correct.
that the fundamental particles have always existed and are eternal
But
as
God
well.
cannot be created.
Yeah, and neither can the fundamental particles as they're both eternal.
But yours doesn't have an explanation. You're saying it explains the creation of the universe. But so I just want to make sure that we're clear. When I say the creation of the universe, God lays it out for us. I know you don't believe in the authority of the Bible. However, God tells us that these things created, and they created in such a particular way. And because of the fine tuning, in because of the fine tuning, it's particular to a creative mind. It's time, space, and matter that need to come into existence at the exact same time. In the very first line of the Bible, in the very first line, it says, in the beginning, you have time. God created the heavens, you have space, and the earth, you have matter. Like, it's literally in the first line of the Bible. Again, I know you don't believe in the authority of the Bible, but when we're talking about these eternal particles that might have the necessary properties to create the universe, but how could they have created them in such a way that allows us to have this conversation right now?
Again, it's the assumption of the necessary properties. That's all I would have to say is the same way that, oh, how can you suppose that God has these desires to bring about us rather than
Because he
desires to
told
bring about
us.
slime? Again, you're saying that God told us, but God telling you that and God desiring to tell you that, that's what I'm questioning in the first place. Is why did God desire to do that rather than desire to do any of the infinite set of other things? And it's
Well,
because God has the necessary desires for this world rather than another one. The exact same assumption. I don't understand what you're not getting
it's
on that.
not the exact same assumption, dude.
It actually unironically is.
It's not, it's unironically not. Because God,
I don't know why you're laughing,
all
Glenn.
you're
It really
dude, all
is.
you're saying is because we exist in the way that we're existing, oh, it's eternal particles. Because if God wanted a different world, He would have created it, but we wouldn't know that that world existed.
We would, yeah, okay. We wouldn't know that world didn't exist if, again, our universe did not lead to this particular set of circumstances. That's exactly what I mean by an observational bias. I haven't brought this up in this conversation, but it's the case that if the universe operated in a particular way in which didn't bring about life, we would have never been able to observe that
Correct.
particular state of affairs
That's
to
right.
then be able to say that that didn't happen. The
Absolutely.
only reason that we can say that this happened or didn't happen in the first place is given the fact that it functioned. So
Right.
it's an observational bias within that respect. So the same thing also applies under the theist model and this model. That doesn't change our view here. That doesn't change anything.
Okay. Well, I'm sure, I guess. It's still challenging to understand how you say that yours would be easier to, it more likely to be true based on that. That's where yours stops because you can say infinite particles, but there is no, it's, you're saying because these things could possibly bring it into existence the way that it is, they must have.
No, no, that's not what I'm saying. Actually, that's not what I'm saying.
Okay.
I'm saying it's more likely to be true than yours because it relies on less assumptions. I've actually already clarified to you multiple times that I think it's not a sufficient explanation. I also think that yours is not a sufficient explanation. The only point that I'm using this for is showing you that it's more likely to be true than yours because I'm just shaving off unnecessary assumptions under your model. Because again, there's two assumptions that I have, right? The ones that we've already laid out in this conversation. These things are also assumed by you.
But mine's assumed that there's a creator and it's God.
Yet you're assuming extra unnecessary stuff. That's my point.
But how is it unnecessary?
Again, because all you need is those two base operating
I
assumptions.
mean, okay, so say there's a detective, say Sherlock Holmes has now entered the chat. He's got to solve a crime. Is he going to take two pieces of evidence and try to solve the crime, or is he going to look for new pieces of evidence and also potentially make assumptions based on the evidence that he's finding?
Okay, so here's what we're gonna do, right? We're gonna look at, in like a general sense, we're gonna look at the available evidence. We're gonna look for new available evidence, and we're gonna hypothesize and test these hypotheses. We can
Okay.
test these hypotheses in the sense of this situation because we don't have something that's empirically verifiable based upon these different assumptions, right, that we have and comparing these different models. That's all we can do.
Okay.
There's nothing empirical we can base this on, right? Unless you're saying that, right, there's some sort of prophecy that we can indicate to be true, or you're saying that like there's some type of personal experience in which indicates this to be true.
I,
Which neither of those things do we think like grounds us sufficiently.
I mean, of course, next time you do this, I will come more equipped with the prophecies. That way we can actually dive into what those are because I definitely want to be prepared on that one. Um, what was the second one? Prophecies, and then,
Prophecies, and then I relate it to personal experiences. You know,
well,
people bring up personal experiences. I don't think that justifies it. It's not a sufficient
no,
explanation.
neither of those are going to help us, which is why I tried to stay away from the Bible because, like I mentioned before, you don't believe in the authority of the Bible, the same way that I do. Even though I think that there's things in there that would be indicative of helping this conversation move along in my favor, we can save that for the next time I join the live.
Sure, man. Is there anything else you want to talk about or add tonight?
Um, I mean, we could talk about the more particular aspects of. You know what? No, I think we're good here. I'll come back the next time, dude.
For sure, man. Appreciate you coming on, man.
Yeah.
Have a great day. All right, let's go into the next person. Everyone, again, if you like my content, follow me if you're not already. I go live literally every single day. Keep tapping that screen. Let's try to get to 1 million likes, everyone. It should up, get it out to more people. Share the live, everyone. Let's try to get to 1,000 shares. Let's go into the next person. Again, if you like my content, follow me if you haven't already, everyone. By the way, everyone, we got like another hour before sub-only chat. Yeah, thank you for the hand hearts. I appreciate it, Gabriella. Thank you so much. Thank you for the confetti. I appreciate it, Jaqueline, thank you so much. By the way, everyone, tomorrow I might be on by like 2, 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So it's going to be a while tomorrow until I'm on. Yo, Stacy, thank you for the galaxy. I appreciate it. Thank you so much, Stacy. W Stacy in the comment section. Let's go, chat. The seventh and coming for the throne. What are you talking about, J-Man? Is that when you're unbanned? That's tough. That's tough. Parker, I love you. Love y'all too. Love y'all too. By the way, everyone, I just wanted to say for everyone who's a sub, by the way, we're gonna be starting this thing that when you sub, right, everyone is gonna be saying what's up, saying welcome, right? I can't believe we haven't done this, right? We're like welcome to the goobs, welcome to the goobs. Like whenever we do subs, like I can't believe we haven't done that yet. That's like actually unbelievable. Like we never even said welcome. Like that's just like kind of rude of us. I'm not gonna lie. All right. It's not accepting this person. Only send a guest request if you disagree, everyone. We are just looking for some debates, y'all. For some reason, it's not accepting people. I'm trying to get to the next person, though. We always do that. Well, not everyone does it. Like, I see Nat do it, and I see, like, Ayana do I see some people do it. I don't see, like, most people do it. We just want to gatekeep subs. Yo, it's so real. So real. If I mean for gatekeeping, we might maybe I'll make it Discord, like a subscriber only Discord thing, and that can gatekeep. We can gatekeep that for the sub only Discord people. I might do that. I might do something like that sometime. I don't know. Maybe we'll see. We'll see. Yo, Kelly, thank you so much for the subscription. Everyone say welcome, Kelly. Everyone say welcome, Kelly. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
I'm 32.
For sure. Do you think that God exists?
Yes, I do.
Why so?
Okay. Pretty much, I'm like the other fella. I do believe in God, but I don't believe in religion. But it's kind of basically like, why would you believe in science and when you could believe in somebody that created the whole universe?
Sure. Well, Chelsea and Corinna, thank you so much for the subscriptions. Everyone say welcome to them in the chat. I think that we don't need a God to explain our existence. One. Two, I don't think that we have good reason to believe that a God is the explanation for our existence. So what would make you think that first of all, that science and God are contradictory? Because you can believe in science and also believe in God. And then second of all, also believe that God explains our reality sufficiently.
Well, I mean, I understand where you come from, but sometimes people just be like, "Well, I just only believe in science," so that's why I said that. But in an aspect, um, we don't need God to um say that say that God is our whole being, but in the same aspect, He's the reason why we're here. Because if you read, I know the Bible can, as you say, can contradict itself, but you got to remember who made the Bible. Sometimes people can go and get their own interpretation of the Bible. It might not even be what the Bible is saying. We are human, we make mistakes. So you just got to put your faith in God and um and put your faith in who you want to believe in.
Dasha, thank you so much for the subscription. I appreciate it. Everyone say welcome in the chat. So particularly, you're just saying that we believe in this based upon faith, right? But my point would be is that if it's just based upon faith, there's nothing differentiating me in terms of believing in Christianity and believing in any other type of religion or any other type of claim in general. Because faith is just whether or not I choose to believe a particular claim. So
Right.
I can have faith that when I die, I'm going to be a Pokemon master. I can have faith that when I die, that I'm going to be Ben 10 and I have an Omnitrix, right? Any of these things could be true if I just decide to believe them and have faith under your view, right? But we
Well,
have to have a process to say, oh, okay, I'm not going to accept that to be true. That seems a bit absurd, right?
Well, yeah, but I get what you're saying. But also with along with having faith, you have to do your own research. It's basically what you want to believe in when you come to you studying and doing your own research. God wants you to come to Him on your own free will. He's not forcing religion or forcing the Bible down your throat. It's not that complicated. God loves everybody. He says, "Come as you are." He's not saying that you're supposed to be clean and not have any sin. He's not saying that because the people that He used as reference in the Bible, they all have sin. You can't just say, "Well, I don't believe in Him because we have sin in this world." That's not how it works because
Yeah,
we are man. We the one that made the sin. If you go back to Genesis with Adam and Eve, we was living in a perfect world until they decided that they want to eat from the forbidden fruit from the tree. If they didn't do that, then yeah, we would probably live in a sinless world. But because we're human and God know that we're human and that we're gonna make mistakes, that's when He sent His Son down to die on the cross for us. And I know you say that you don't believe in a resurrection, but it's I know that you say that you don't believe in resurrection, but I do because of the simple fact that we wouldn't be able to the Bible wouldn't be able to show us how much God loves us. Let me get my food. God won't be able to show us how much God loves us. God, God, that's right me.
By the way, Mila, thank you for the subscription. I appreciate it.
Okay, hold on one second. Okay, I'll bring it to you. And then, so yeah, so that's how. So by the way, so when God resurrection and to show that He loved us and that He died for all our sins and that He was going to be with the Father, then that's just something that He had to go through to deliver us from all the sin of the
Okay,
world.
so let's reference some of this. We absolutely would expect a world without sin under this particular view, as it is the case that God can create a world without sin and still keep free will, right?
Yeah,
So
I get what you're saying. God could have made a world without sin, but if God would have made a world without sin, how would we be able to come to Him on His own free will? Because we would have to.
because it is the case that given our free will, we would decide to act in other ways. God knows actually every single way we would act given our free will, and there's at least one shot where every single person, every single circumstance does the right thing, right? Because it is the case that we had the ability to do the right thing, so there is a world where I did do the right thing, right? And then since there is a world where I would do the right thing, there's a small level of probability, right? But God will see that world where I did that, right? And there, since we can multiply that in terms of all the other like probabilities of everyone else also doing the good thing, there's at least going to be one world in which everyone does the right thing freely,
But that's
even if it's super unlikely to happen.
yeah, but that just really just go back to Genesis when the Bible said that God created Adam and Eve, and when they ate from the forbidden fruit, and it just opened up a world of sin. So it's like I don't know. The Bible pretty much explains everything, but you can't like just only take part of the Bible and put it to the content that you wanted to put it in. You have to read the whole thing, because sometimes we, as human, we just want to take part of a situation or part of a contest and just run with it.
I'm not just like I specific hyper specific on like one context or thing. I'm just applying what the view is and how it like would be expected to apply, right? Given God's characteristics that we already understand.
Okay, well, and then what you were pretty much talking about. I don't remember too much. Um, I'm trying to remember everything that you had brought to the contest. Could you take him something to drink, DJ? Awesome. Trying to think what else that you do. You have anything else that you was talking about? I can't remember everything that you was kind of going over in the live.
Yeah, I was kind of just saying that like free will doesn't necessarily mean that there has to be evil. There can be free
Oh
will
no,
and
you
there's
going
no
out.
evil simultaneously.
I can't hear you.
Hello? Chat, can y'all hear me fine? They might be lagging themselves.
Hello,
Hello?
hello.
Yeah, chat can see me. Okay. All right, we're going to go to the next person. Everyone, she's lagging a lot. We're going to go to the next person. Only send a guest request if you disagree. We are just looking for some debates. Everyone, tap that screen. Everyone, keep tapping. Let's try to get to 1 million likes, everyone. We're slowly climbing up that ladder, everyone. Let's try to get to 1 million likes. Share the live as well. Let's try to get to 1,000 shares, everyone. But let me go to the next person. Again, only send a guest request if you do disagree, y'all. Again, follow me if you haven't already. I go live literally every single day, y'all. Yo, what's up? How old are you? Hello?
Yo, am I talking?
Yeah, how old are you?
Fuck yeah, dude. I'm 21. And here's the thing, man. I'm not super, I'm not going to say I know everything. But right now your question is prove that God exists, right? And I like facts. Here's a fact, right? Jesus was a real person, and things that happened in that time frame are real. I'm just going to use deductive reasoning here. If that happened, the other must be true. That's sort of my opinion.
What? So because some things in the Bible are true, that means the whole Bible is true?
Some things, everything that happened in the Bible that was pertaining to reality actually happened. And not only that, but if you look at
Wait. Resurrection. I don't think you have good evidence the resurrection happened.
they have great evidence of resurrection happened.
No, you don't.
So many
Go for
scientists
it.
have gone over the tomb and how a body could have come out of that. And
Yeah,
there's no
so
way
there's
that body
actually
could have
good
come out of
reason to
that
believe
mummy.
that he wasn't in a tomb in the first place, as it was the case that most people that were crucified at that particular time period were left on the cross to decompose, right? They weren't put in tombs like that.
Okay, so what's up
Most
with the
people.
fucking mummy shit, dude?
What mummy
Have you,
shit?
have you seen like the heat scans or whatever the fuck they did that showed like the face imprint and everything? And
Oh,
it's,
you mean the Shroud of Turin?
dude,
Yeah,
I'm
it's
not a
bullshit.
professional.
Complete bullshit. They carbon dated that to like the 1300s. Like,
I don't know, man. I'm just saying this is why I believe it, and you can choose to believe it or not. But I'm like, this is sort of my reasoning is like deductive reasoning to me. I've seen so much
there's
evidence.
no
Not only
deductive
that, but
region to indicate this at all. Like, can
in
you give me
the
like? There's no deductive argument here.
okay, let me do some reach. I'll come back tomorrow. You gonna have this conversation tomorrow?
No.
Okay. Hey man, you know what? I like your little podcast you got going on, whatever the fuck you want to call it. But I hope someone does better than me because I fucking suck at talking, man.
All right, appreciate you coming on, man. Have a good day. All right, let's go to the next person. Only send a guest request if you disagree. We are just looking for some debates. You already know. Only send a guest request if you disagree, everyone. Keep tapping that screen, everyone. Let's try to get to 1 million likes, y'all.
No,
Yo, what's up? How old are you?
babe.
How old are you?
I am.
Not old enough, I'm guessing. All right, let's go to the next person. Only send a guest request if you do disagree, everyone. We are just looking for some debates, y'all. Parker, get a podcast, or we'll have to see. We'll have to see. Me and Dean were thinking about it. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
Green? Oh, you don't know your orange from your indigo today, Baba Yellow. Sorry.
All right, let's go to the next person. Only send a guest request if you disagree, everyone. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
4 days, Parker. 4 days. How old are you?
21. How old are you?
34.
For sure. Do you believe in God?
I know God's real.
How do you know?
Astrophysics.
How does astrophysics tell you that God is real?
Astrophysics proves God is real.
How so?
There are. Now, listen, before I give you the evidence that God is real, I have to say that I have accepted Islam as my faith. And because I've done that, I need to say I do not represent Islam in the respect that this is what they all believe or anything like that. I just want to be respectful. If I say anything that is out of line or wrong, I want to go ahead and apologize to anybody listening. But this is how I discovered that there is a God, and when I was atheist before, so it, it's got to be proved. So it is what it is.
All right, go for it.
Do you know? Do you know what plasma is?
Very vaguely.
Okay, well, you might want to look it up, but I'll tell you about it. So there's 4 states of matter. They only taught us like 3 in school, but I'm a little bit older than you, so I'm not sure what they taught you in your time. But the 4th state of matter is plasma. It's when you superheat water, it goes past the point of gas and it turns into its plasmic state. It is what makes up a lightning bolt, right? That is made of plasma. The sun is made of plasma. 99% of the universe is made of plasma. It's supercharged irradiated particles that are emitted from the sun and other celestial bodies, cosmic radiation, that type of stuff. And it permeates the universe. It's invisible except for like the plasma of the sun that we see as light. Are you familiar with the
So where do you get that 99% is plasma?
That is the estimated. That is just the basic component of all matter in the universe, right? So plasma is a bunch of different kinds of particles, right?
No, it does say 99.9%.
Yeah.
So what's your point with that?
Well, you have to understand these things to understand why God is real, and to understand
Yeah.
God in the Bible, the Abrahamic God, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Now, there's this, we have a liquid metal core for the planet, right? It, in its spin, in its rotation, produces an electromagnetic field around the planet. The electromagnetic field forms what is called the magnetosphere. It is the 7th layer of the atmosphere, the most outer of all the 7 atmospheres, right? This electromagnetic shield that's called the magnetosphere blocks that plasma, most of it, right, from hitting the planet. If that solar wind, which is what the plasma is called, if the solar wind were to get past that magnetosphere, it would destroy our atmosphere. There would be no life on the planet, right? It would basically burn everything away in a fire.
Is what you're bringing up like a teleological argument?
I don't know if you would consider it theological. This honestly has no previous basis. This isn't like a proposed argument.
Well, because I think that it's kind of similar to like the fine tuning in the sense that like you're saying that like the reality could have very likely have been different.
Let me ask you a question,
Right.
Parker. If there was something that was described in the Bible, the Quran, the Bhagavad Gita, ancient Egyptian texts, maybe other scriptures, and they're all describing one thing almost perfectly, and over the past 4,000 years, not one person has noticed it, and it is God that it's talking about, then wouldn't statistically that make God real if there's no possible way they could have known about it?
I don't see how that makes God real. Just because they have similar explanations for something that's yet unexplained doesn't mean that it's accurate.
You could say aliens gave them that information or knowledge, right? You could say flying spaghetti monster.
They wouldn't need aliens for this knowledge.
Well, for this knowledge that I'm going to tell you, they would have to. There's no other way they could have known. It's invisible.
What knowledge?
The beginning of Genesis, it talks about how God created the heaven and the earth, right? And if you go a little bit further in line 7 or line 8, it says that God created the firmament and he separated the waters above from the waters below. That plasma that the electromagnetic shield blocks from the planet is water. And so is the atmosphere. It's just in a different state of matter. That water that we have found...
I'm not gonna hold to it being water.
You can look it up. Just look up water in space. Look it up. They've even found like liquid water in space, but it is water.
No, but plasma isn't water.
Plasma is a state of matter. It's not a chemical at all.
Is it water though?
It is water that is superheated past the point of... Yes, it's hydrogen, and there's an ozone layer that we have.
So what you're making an equivocation here then between blood plasma and plasma within the rest of the universe, because blood plasma does contain blood plasma does contain water, right? But not like plasma that would be in the universe.
This isn't blood plasma.
I'm just trying to clarify that.
Now,
so like
that is another hint, however, that is mentioned in the Bible as well and the Quran. But what the plasma of space is the 4th state of matter. It is still water. And if you read the Intro to Astrophysics textbook that is in college right now, the preferred textbook for college, it says that it is an ocean of plasma with waves that lap at our shores.
That's an analogy.
But it's because it's water.
That's analogy does not mean it's literal.
Well, what is water?
Again, them using an analogy is not literal.
What is water?
H2O.
Okay, so hydrogen and oxygen, correct? What is the ozone layer?
I don't know what's made up of the ozone layer.
Ozone layer is pure O3. It is oxygen gas, and it is just 3 oxygen molecules. Now look up what plasma is made of. Just look up hydrogen in space. Look up water in space, any of it. There's molecules.
It's not H2O.
It doesn't have to be H2O to be water. It just has to.
It does.
No, it doesn't. It just has to be hydrogen.
What?
Is not steam that is evaporated water? Is it not still water even though it is in the gaseous state?
But it's still H2O.
And it's water. It's in the gaseous state.
But again, H2O. It's still H2O, right?
Yeah, it would be. Sure.
So the idea here is that the rest of space is not H2O.
Okay. You've got to just think about how water behaves and how the atoms attract and bond. If you take liquid water and you heat it, it becomes gas. That steam is still water.
I'm not disputing that.
It
but
is
it's
water,
still H2O.
It is water
it's
vapor.
still H2O.
It is, yeah, sure. Yes, it is.
Yeah, this isn't H2O.
Look up water in space. It's there.
It's not H2O.
It is. It is.
No, it's not. Plasma is not H2O.
There is H2O in it.
No, wait, can you give me evidence? Tell me where. Where can I find
Just look up water in space. Look up hydrogen in space. Astrophysicists
water
believe
in
it all day.
no, is it all over space? Because you said not just like there being some water.
There's some places, you won't even believe this, 100 light years worth of distance of liquid water surrounding.
But you're trying to make the claim that all the plasma outside of the context, like in space, is water, right? Which is not true.
What else would you expect God to tell somebody 2,000 years ago to write down, right? I mean, what would you expect them?
Yeah, so you can find like liquid water and like, or like frozen water and stuff in like comets.
I'm not talking about frozen. This is like 30,000 degrees, man.
Where is it at though?
Solar
Is it all
wind.
over the universe?
Solar, as far as I can tell, yes, it is everywhere.
No, it's not. Give me any source that says that it's everywhere.
It radiates off a star.
Chat. The person who's saying 91 to 92% of water, that's blood plasma. We're not talking about blood plasma.
No. So just look up solar wind.
So is solar wind water?
And I'm sorry, I know a lot of these concepts are foreign to a lot of people.
Is solar wind water?
It's solar wind water. Just look up what solar wind is first.
Yeah, the solar wind is created by the outward expansion of plasma from the sun's corona.
Yes. It's
don't
like
see how it's
coronal mass
water.
ejections and solar flares and that type of stuff. It's a constant.
Where's the water?
It is a constant sea of plasma that blasts off from the sun in all directions.
And is there water?
There is water.
Where?
If you go to NASA's website, you can go look at models and chemical compositions, and there's other irradiated particles in there, but you know how water mixes with just about anything. So, you just got to understand that it's superheated gaseous water. What is the
I don't see anywhere that says that it's water. Can you just tell me where to like a title of something?
Logically for a minute. What is the atmosphere made of?
Can you give me a title of something that says that that there's water in it?
Did you look up
Just one
water
thing.
in space?
I did. I actually did.
And you looked up hydrogen in space?
Mm-hmm.
And you looked up the ozone layer?
Yeah, and it doesn't relate to what you just said. It's been discovered in space, right, but that's not relating to it being plasma.
Yeah. So just look up water mixed with the plasma
Water mixed with plasma.
in space. And it's not even the extent of the proof. So if you'd like to hear all of it, we can get to it.
Yeah.
So that is mentioned. Now that is what he's called the firmament. After it says it's the firmament, he says it is called heaven. So if you go back to line 1, Genesis reads a little bit differently. In the beginning, God created the earth and the firmament. Now line 2 says, and the earth was without form and void. So a lot of people, and this is where I need to be really careful about what I say because of my religion, but what do you believe about creation?
I don't have an explanation.
Big Bang Theory?
Big Bang Theory just explains how we exist currently, not about like where everything in existence comes from.
Right. So we have what is called the observable universe, right? About 14.5 billion light years. You can see.
Say that again, you cut out.
Yeah, you're breaking
Hello?
up. I said we have what's called the observable universe, which is. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you now.
We have what is called the observable universe. It's about 14.5 billion light years across, and that's what we estimate the beginning of the universe to be, because that is all the light that is in the universe. Now we have recently.
That's of the observable universe.
That's
not of all
the light
existence.
in the universe. There is no light on the other side of it. That's why it's called the observable universe.
Yeah, but we don't know if that's the beginning of all existence.
We do. We've gotten that light reflected back to us. We've actually been able to see.
Yeah, that doesn't mean it's the beginning of all existence.
It is light from the beginning of the Big Bang.
That doesn't mean it's not. That does not mean it's beginning to all existence. The same way there's a beginning to
Sure, there
me,
could be
but does
a
not
Big
mean
Bang
that's the beginning of
before
all
it.
existence.
Right, there could be Big Bang before it. I don't believe that matter can be created nor destroyed, correct? But light is not matter. I'm talking about the observable, the light of the universe. Do you know why things cannot travel faster than the speed of light?
Because there's only light within the universe.
No, they can't travel
Like in
faster
that
than the speed
respect.
of light because it would have to cease to exist to travel faster than the speed of light, because light is non-existent, yet we can still see it. It has no mass. It's just light.
I wouldn't say that light is non-existent.
It's not non-existence. It is just right on the border. If you were to travel faster than the speed of light, you would have to cease to exist, right?
That's what our current theoretical models say. I agree with
Yes,
those, but like
right.
I'm confused with your explanation. But like again, like my point is still the case that I don't understand. I mean, not my point. I just
According
don't
to the
understand
Bible,
what you're trying to
according
establish.
according to the Bible, what a lot of people, like especially like me and you, had with religion and the theory of God and whatnot was that
Wait, I mean, people are saying light has mass, right?
yeah,
Is that true?
barely any. You can't have less
So it
mass.
does have mass?
It's just, I mean, it's on the border to nothing, right?
Okay.
It's
That doesn't mean it's nothing.
that's
That'd be a category error.
that's debatable, right?
That's not debatable. It's a category error, clearly. You can't
No.
say it's basically in existence, but it's not. That's contradictory.
Like I said, it's debatable. Now, either way, the earth being without form and the heaven being the firmament that was created. Now, what is an earth without form that was created then?
An earth without form that was created. I don't know.
It's line 2 of Genesis. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. That's line 1. Line 2 is, and the earth was without
I don't
form.
think in the beginning is actually the verse. If you look at the
It's Genesis. In the beginning,
Hebrew.
God created the heaven and the earth. That's line 1 of Genesis. Line 2 is, and the earth was without.
Not the Hebrew.
The Hebrew wasn't the original old Genesis anyway. It was Greek. It was
No,
old.
Greek is old is New Testament, not
Septuagint.
old.
It was Old Testament, 300 BCE. Before
Old
that,
Testament is Hebrew. New Testament is Greek.
Hebrew was a lost language at the time already. Hebrew had tablets that were legend by them.
Dude, I don't know what you're talking about. Clearly, the Hebrew is
It
the
was
Old
oral
Testament,
tradition and Aramaic and Greek scripts, and that was about it. The Septuagint was
that's for New Testament.
The Septuagint is the original Old Testament. It is called the Septuagint
Hebrew.
because that name means 70 in Greek. It's called 70 because it's the translation of the 72. There's a legend about them in Alexandria taking 72 Jews who wrote that Septuagint all at the same time in 72 different rooms, who didn't eat for 30 days. But obviously that's just a load of crap. So there weren't 72 books that it was translated from. It was not translated over the course of 72 days, and there were not 72 scribes needed to translate one book. Therefore, it was not a translation. It's called the Septuagint for a different reason. It was 70 something else, and it's older than any of the Hebrew scripts that we have. In the 1800s, Hebrew was reborn again.
Yeah, so if you just look it up, you can just look up like is the Old Testament in Greek or Hebrew? It's going to tell you biblical
Yep. Now
Hebrew.
look up Hebrew at that time. It was not. There's not a Hebrew text it was translated from. How do we have the Septuagint but not the book it was translated?
What do you mean there's not a Hebrew text it's translated
Look
from? What are you talking about?
what it means by translated. It's doublespeak. It was not. Even the Jews back then spoke Greek. Nobody spoke Hebrew at that time. Jesus spoke Aramaic. He was Aramaic. He was not Hebrew.
Yeah, Jesus did, right? We're talking about Old Testament, right?
Everybody.
Old Testament is prior to Jesus, right?
Yeah, 300 years, but everybody spoke Aramaic, and the Hebrew was a lost language for a long time.
Give me any source that indicates that the Old Testament, originally speaking, was in Greek.
There's two different kinds of Old Testament. You have
just give me one source.
The Old Greek Testament, and that's what the Septuagint is. It is called
but what did it derive from?
You got to understand that the Hebrew Testament is what is the Old Testament of the Bible now, but they took out the Septuagint, which was the original Old Testament, for the New Testament, which both were in Greek.
Okay, can you give me a source that indicates that the Old Testament is in Greek?
It's not
like originally.
Okay, yes, I can.
Any
The name
evidence?
Yahweh. The name Yahweh was a translation of the Greek
Hey,
word.
I asked you for a
You
source,
said
man.
or evidence.
I asked you for a source. I said source.
I'll find one for you. But the Septuagint is a source in and of itself. The name of it's a source. And so is a lot of the writings. Matter of fact, the New Testament has more references to the Septuagint
Hey, man, can you just give me a source, please?
still to this day. And the New Testament references lines from books in the Septuagint that were taken out that are not in the Old Testament now, which is of the Hebrew Testament. So it has to be before it.
Can you just find me a source, please?
Sure. I mean, actually, I would say that there being a Hebrew Testament before the Greek Testament would be the only thing that could disprove what I'm saying. So if you can find a Hebrew Testament that it was translated from, I'll acquiesce.
Can you please just give me a source instead of deflecting and asking me to give a source?
What source would you accept?
Literally give me anything that says
Anything.
other than trustmebro.org.
It's not trust me, bro. I mean, it's all. There is no Hebrew Testament that it was translated from. So I mean, I'm not sure.
Can you just give me a single source? Give me a single source that indicates that it's the original Old Testament is in Greek.
I mean, it itself is its source that it is before the Hebrew Testament.
Can you just please give me a single source, bro?
I would like to know what you could consider a source.
Oh my God,
Somebody
anything. Literally just give me anything.
Just give you anything. The name of it.
Any single source. Like fucking institution, anything.
That corroborates, that agrees with me?
Yes, that agrees with you, man.
Oh, yeah, good luck.
That is accredited.
All right. Let's do it. I mean, they have a lot of similar books, so. Oh, I know. I remember somewhere where it shows that it was translated from. You're just gonna have to look up Yahweh, the Tetragrammaton, YWHW, whatever it is. Look up YWHW. That word itself, what they consider the name of God, is
it's the Hebrew name. No, it's literally the Hebrew name.
No, it's a translation from Greek, and that's
look up Yahweh. I literally look up Yahweh. It says name of the God of the Israelites, representing biblical pronunciation of YHWH, yes. The Hebrew name revealed to Moses in the book Exodus.
Yes, that
Hebrew.
Yes, but those letters are translated.
That's wild.
Well, from the Greek. They're translated from the Greek.
Where do you get this information from? Can you just find your source, man?
I don't know. Resources. I mean, shit. Research.
You don't have a single source?
I'm finding you one. Relax.
Okay.
I don't get it.
In the meantime, everyone, tap that screen. Let's try to get to 1 million likes. If you want to help get out to more people, keep sharing the live. Let's try to get to 1,000 shares, everyone. Again, if you like my content, follow me if you haven't already, everyone. Yeah, I appreciate the confetti. Thank you so much, Amber.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Again, you're giving me a source that indicates that it came from this, right?
The letter Y wasn't even in existence until the 1500s. Thank you. So how could it be revealed to Moses in Exodus if it was not translated from the Greek?
So that would be like the way in which we understand the word, right? Isn't it?
No. Sorry.
Do you want me to bring someone up who knows Hebrew? And Greek?
I mean, they've probably been brainwashed into believing that too. So, I mean,
of course, brainwashed. Yeah.
I mean, whatever.
So says the one who's not even giving me a source. You're not even giving me a trustmebro.org university.
What extra source you would need other than the letter Y doesn't exist?
Yeah. So this is just come on, man.
There is no.
Give me one reputable institution that says this. One.
Sure. I'll find one. I'm sure somebody's got to have been able to do it.
Yep. Somebody. We'll see.
Somebody somewhere.
Somebody somewhere, sometime in the universe, at some point in existence.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah, Matt, send a guest request, my guy. No, yes or no, even. I couldn't tell if you said yes or no. We do get it. Matt coming through chat. W Matt.
If you look it up, it says it is the very first. Go to It's right here. The very first
Hold on, I'm
translation.
gonna hold on. You asked for some. I'm gonna end this really quick. You
No,
asked
there's
for
no reason to
something.
end it. Look, the very
You
first
asked for
translation of the Hebrew
something that
Bible
would
was
Hey, let him
disprove.
speak, man.
okay. Yeah.
You asked for something that would disprove that the Septuagint, which was written by, which was petitioned by Ptolemy in about 295
Yeah.
BC. You asked if there's anything older that would null and void your thing that was written in Hebrew. We have a scroll. It's more like an amulet written in 600 BC. It's called the Ketef Himam scroll. It is
Yeah.
written in Proto-Hebrew, and it
Uh-huh.
contains a verse from Isaiah.
Okay, that's not proof that there was an
It is
entire
proof
Old
because the
Testament.
reason. Okay, how do you think the Septuagint was translated from? It was translated from Hebrew into Greek. Why?
Okay, so how
Because
with what?
because
72
Jews.
scribes, 72 days, or 72 books?
Bro, 72 refers to the number of people who were who were transcribing it from Hebrew. Why does
You
it
t-
need to be? Why did they need to transcribe it into Greek?
you're telling me why
It's
did they
because the
need 72
tradition was
people?
in Hebrew.
Why did they need 72 people?
Because they needed 72 Jewish scholars who spoke Hebrew and knew the history of it, because the Jewish people had an oral tradition
An
mostly.
oral tradition, so that's what
Yes,
it was
they
before.
hold on. They had an oral
Ah,
tradition
there we go.
mostly,
So the first
but
written
they
one was the
still wrote it
Septuagint?
down. But they still wrote it down. You will find no scholar, which is why you're having trouble doing it, that says that the Hebrew Bible, that the Torah and the
I
Tanakh
didn't say
was
Hebrew
written.
Bible, sir. I said Old Testament.
Hebrew Bible is the Old Testament.
That's no, it's not. It's the Hebrew
Yes, it is. The
Bible.
Hebrew Bible is the Old Testament. It
I said
consists of the Torah and then the Tanakh. It
it
consists
is
of
now the Old Testament of the
bro,
Bible, but it is not
bro.
the original Old Testament of the Bible.
Hold on. No.
The
Hebrew
original Old
Bible
Testament of the
refers
Bible
to
is the
Hebrew
Greek
Bible
Old
refers to
Testament.
what we call the Old Testament. It consists of the Torah and the Tanakh. And by the way, you're wrong about Yahweh. If you know Hebrew, it's Yod He Vav He. It comes from Exodus 3:6, which the phrase that God told Moses,
I am
a
that I am.
Yaser.
That was a
What?
joke you told Moses, right? Do you realize that?
God saying his name was a joke.
No, it was a joke to Moses. Yes, that part was, because right afterwards he did say, I am the God of Jacob, the God of Isaac, the God of Abraham, and that will be my name for perpetual generations. But that's not what you guys say his name is. You guys say his name is I am that
Yes,
I
because
am.
God has multiple names. God
Uh-huh.
has over 60 names
Oh,
in it,
do you know why
within the Tanakh.
he said I am that I am? Because
Oh, please enlighten
Moses
me.
was wanting proof of God to give to the other Jews. The Jews or Hebrews or the Israelites, when Moses would go to them, he would say, "Hey guys, get up, we got to go." And they'd say, "Why?" And Moses said, "Because God said so." And they would say, "Which God?" They were always worshiping idols and stuff. And then Moses would say, "Well, the God." And they say, "Which the God?" And then
It
Moses says,
still
"The I am
it still
God,
tells
that
us, it
one,
still tells us
that
that
one,
his
the I
name,
am God,
that the
God,
root
that
of the
God."
name
It
comes
was
from Hebrew.
hilarious. It was the first time I saw humor in God.
It's the root of the name, because in Greek, the name Yahweh, or which was taken from Exodus 3:6, doesn't even
Oh,
translate to a YHWH to
of course not, because that's four random letters. Why would it?
no, because in Greek it says ego eimi,
Yeah,
which is why Jesus used it in the book of John.
that's right. He used the Greek
Yes,
in the book of John.
no, but Jesus himself did not speak Greek. He spoke
Then you tell
Aramaic.
me why
Only the
there are
writers of the
you
New
tell me
Testament
why there are
spoke
verses
Greek.
in the New Testament, the Greek New Testament, from the Greek Septuagint that are not in the Hebrew Bible or the Hebrew Old Testament.
Dude, I don't know where you got this from, but there is no scholar of the Bible, none, not even the most evangelical of the evangelical,
That's not
that
my fault.
agrees.
That's not my fault, and it doesn't
No,
define our
yes,
life.
it is,
Yeah,
because
Matt, that's why he still hasn't brought up the source, even
yes,
though
and
it's
I
been like
gave you,
A
fucking
by the
brief,
15
way, and
just
I
minutes.
look at
gave
a
you, by
brief
the
history
way,
of the Septuagint.
we have
Associates
we have
BibleArchaeology.org. It says the very first translation of the Hebrew Bible was made into Greek.
Translation,
The Hebrew
not the
Bible was oral
original.
tradition.
That's not the original.
It's talking about how the Hebrew Bible was translated into Greek.
Yeah, but it wasn't the Hebrew Bible.
Wait, that's actually justifying my
No, the
point,
Hebrew
because my
Bible wasn't a
point
book.
was that it originated from
It wasn't a
Hebrew.
book, though. The Old Testament is not the Hebrew Bible. Those are two different things. The Hebrew Bible is the Hebrew Bible. I'm talking about the Old Testament. The first one is in Greek. That is the Septuagint.
Literally, the Hebrew Bible is.
Oh,
That's not the origin,
but not
though.
the originally.
The both containing the oral tradition until it was written down. We know that has been a line from classical Hebrew up into
Okay, an
Masoretic
oral
Hebrew,
tradition is
and then
not a
into
book.
modern Hebrew.
There was Aramaic scrolls that were older than that. There was Greek scrolls that they used to make the Septuagint. There were plenty of
There
scrolls,
was no
plenty of
scrolls that they
oral
used to make
traditions.
Septuagint
They
because
were
we don't
compiled
have
into
any
the
of the
Septuagint.
scrolls. The oldest thing that we have of a
You have one
complete
scroll with one
Tanakh.
verse on it is your only evidence.
Yes, and you asked, give me anything.
You mean every fucking all scholars, right? Literally,
Yes, you
everyone's gonna
asked for
agree with us.
anything that
Okay,
shows
we have the whole Septuagint book.
Hebrew
We
was the
don't have the
original, and
Hebrew Bible that it was
we have an
translated from.
amulet that tells us that Hebrew was the original
How?
because the Septuagint had to translate from something, and that something was Hebrew.
Hebrew was a lost language at the time.
No, it wasn't.
Yes, it
Plenty of
was.
people,
According to
plenty
your
of
scholars,
people
those same scholars say Hebrew was a lost language.
Plenty of people in the Middle East spoke Hebrew. The reason why it had to
No,
be
they spoke
translated to Greek
Aramaic.
was
Nobody
because the
spoke Hebrew
Greeks
back
started
then.
taking over the area.
Yeah, going from Greek to Hebrew to Greek, that's real coherent.
No, it wasn't from Hebrew to Greek to Hebrew. It was from Greek to Hebrew, and the Greek one was written off of a
No,
whole
it was not
bunch
from
of
Greek to
supporting
Hebrew.
documents.
The reason why the Greeks had to translate is because the Greeks took over the region.
There's
When they were
still
speaking through
Aramaic
the region,
writings in the
they
Septuagint. There are still pure Aramaic writings in the Septuagint and no Hebrew. How does that make
yes,
any sense?
Aramaic and Hebrew are two different languages.
Yes, I know that.
But they coexisted, and
And
Jesus likely spoke Aramaic as his natural language, but he could likely also read Hebrew. The one
well,
thing that we don't know is if he could read Greek.
I didn't even think you guys believed in Jesus.
What?
I've already established in this conversation that I believe Jesus
Not
existed
you.
and that I believe he crucified on the cross.
Yeah, I'm not talking to you, Parker.
Matt's the same
What do you mean I
position.
don't believe in Jesus? I mean, yes, of course Jesus was a real guy. We have good historical evidence he was a real guy. I just don't believe that he was the son of God. That's a difference.
Sure. But why? Who do you think Mary had that child with then?
I think the simplest explanation is what happens with most people. A young woman of between 14 and 16 got pregnant by her man, and people thought it was the son of God. I see no evidence within the Gospels that Jesus was conceived by God through the Holy Spirit. I see no evidence of it. And so Jesus, so what's more likely, that Mary was conceived through a Holy Spirit through the invention of a God, or that Mary told a fib about who she got pregnant from?
Mary
Humans be
conceived or
humans.
Mary was conceived? Sorry, what did you say?
I said humans be humans. I see no evidence for that Jesus was conceived by the Holy Spirit, just as no other person within any other civilization who
That's not what
claims
I
to
asked, though. I
believe.
asked you, who did you think the person that conceived Jesus was?
Joseph or whoever she
She
also
hadn't
married.
even met
Was it
Joseph when
Joseph?
she was
Maybe
pregnant.
she what?
She hadn't even met Joseph yet when she was pregnant.
Bro,
That's what
Joseph was literally engaged to her when she got
they got
pregnant.
engaged. They hadn't met. They were betrothed.
He
You know this. Come on now.
hold on.
Come on now.
Then maybe she
What?
slept
I thought
around.
we were talking to a scholar. Who is this?
Maybe she slept around. Because guess what?
Maybe she
People do
slept
that.
around at 13 years old. That's a claim right there, brother.
Yes, you
Dang.
know why?
That is rough.
Because young women back then had
Oh,
yes, young
come
women back
on.
then
I
had
thought you got
and
a
so
scholar in
hold
you,
on.
Parker. What's up?
You're asking me to
No,
believe
that's
that the most likely explanation
just
is that this young
wrong.
woman got pregnant by the Holy Spirit through God instead of the fact that she just slept around. What is more likely?
Since Jesus was the Messiah, I would say a virgin birth,
No,
brother.
see that you have presuppositions. You are presupposing every single thing about Jesus, and you get it straight from the Gospels. I'm saying
No, I'm
take
not
all of that
presupposing.
out.
I don't
Take
have
all of that out.
anybody
What is
else that's
most
claiming to
likely?
be. I don't have anybody else that's claiming to be the Father. So what if?
We have plenty of people in antiquity who claim to be God. We have plenty of people
I
who
didn't say.
claim to be the Son of God.
Okay, who else was claiming? Who was claiming to be God at that point in time? Then.
There was a Jewish man
Mm-hmm.
who lived after Jesus. His name I can't think of his name now, but he was also killed because he also claimed to be the Son of God. We have
Mm-hmm.
people like Mithras. We have people
Mm-hmm.
like we have people in
Apollonius.
Greek culture who also
Apollonius.
thought to be conceived through divine
Apollonius.
intervention.
Apollonius. Yeah.
Apollonius is one of them, but also
Mm-hmm.
Mithras.
Mm-hmm.
You have other people who had
Mm-hmm.
cult-like followings who also claimed to be conceived by a god who did
Mm-hmm.
miracles and then was killed and then was resurrected on the third day. I'm not saying that the story of Jesus got their inspiration from any of those. I don't believe that. What I'm saying, though, is in the
I don't.
culture,
Yeah.
people claim this all the time because that's what the people thought back then. They thought that gods
Interesting.
actively intervened in their lives.
Interesting. Well, yeah, but I don't believe the Bible is. I don't know if you heard the beginning of this conversation, so I'm not really sure what about that anyway.
Okay, so we can
I just
run
want to
it
know what you
back
thought.
to like the best of the debate. Appreciate it, Matt, man.
Yeah, all
So,
right. Bye, dude.
W's, Matt. Let's go. Appreciate it, man.
so there are many scholars that say that Hebrew was a lost and dead language by 200 BC, right around the time the Septuagint was
There's
written.
no point to continue going through this, right? You
Okay,
gave no source, you gave no evidence, right? Let's just move
I
on to
did
the
give a
next
source,
point.
actually.
You didn't give shit. What'd you give?
I did. I said, I already told
The
you.
Bible org that literally didn't justify your point. It literally was stating that it came from Hebrew in the first
That
place.
Hebrew
That the
Bible-
origination was Hebrew.
Yeah, but it wasn't a Bible. It wasn't a full document. It was just oral tradition and scrolls. Like he said, there was only one from 600 BC. There was just one scroll, one verse on one scroll that he had as evidence that there was anything before. So there were some Hebrew scrolls.
And that was in what? What was that in?
600 BC, I think he said, which it sounds ridiculous.
No. What language?
He said a Hebrew scroll, but there's plenty of Aramaic too.
Hebrew.
There's Aramaic
So-
too. There's
Yeah, there's
Aramaic.
some. There is some text that is, but that's not to say that it isn't in Hebrew mainly.
Well,
What's up, Nani, by the way?
I didn't say that the Hebrew spoken language or the Hebrew scrolls didn't write the Septuagint. I'm saying there wasn't an Old Testament.
The origination was Hebrew.
So listen, the word Old Testament.
I don't even care about this point. I actually
care
don't
about it
give a
either.
fuck.
You're right.
I actually
care about-
don't give a shit
I
at
don't care
all.
about it either. You're right. But anyway,
I give no fucks.
either way, in the beginning was the heaven and the earth. That was the whole point of the conversation, and that is fine how it is, right? And I really don't even care if it didn't say that in the original Greek or the Hebrew. But the earth being without form, what, according to the Bible, right? What God created in the beginning was light, the earth without form, and heaven, the firmament, right? Then some like fish and animals, I think, and he conjured up all the water into one spot by the dry land. And then God said, let us make man in our image and our likeness. Now, a lot of people want to say we're made in God's image, but that's not what God said. God said our likeness and our image. If you look up the magnetosphere, it is in the shape of a person, and it is in the shape of the Egyptian Ankh and the knot of Isis and the
Where do you see this?
Look up the magnetosphere and get it detailed with all the little tails and sides. You put it up on the screen. It's got a head. It's got a place where the brain is for the Van Allen belt. It's got a place where the heart is for the other Van Allen belts. It is invisible, but it has bands of magnetic bands.
Ibrahim, thank you for the Venmo. I appreciate it. This?
That's not a really detailed picture of it. That's kind of, but yeah, that shows the water that it's going through. People say, "No, what crazy?" Yeah.
No, this is not like
Look up a
person.
detailed picture of it. Yeah, no, it is. It looks like a person. It looks like no. That's not what it looks like. That's a model of it, like if the Earth stood still, but we're moving through space. That's a good one. Not bad.
This does not look
There's
like a
better ones.
person.
That looks like a person wearing a cloak, really. But you got to get one that's a little bit more detailed that shows the trails, the two legs. Go look. Okay, so you compare that to the bathroom sign that says men and women, and it is in the shape, the image and likeness of us. Yep, yep. You could get a better picture than that, but that's about close enough. That looks like now. Look up a video of it.
Because when you pull it to the side,
Yeah, that's it. That is the image and likeness that we're made after. The heaven and the earth without form. That's what the Bible says. That is it. All right, now that magnetic shield for any plasma.
these are the best arguments religion has to offer, chat.
I'm not done
W's
yet.
in the chat. Let's go. Honestly,
I'm not done yet. So any of that plasma.
these are the best arguments, chat.
That's not an accurate picture of it.
That's not an accurate picture. I wonder which ones are accurate.
Get a good one. Get a good one of the magnetosphere itself. You're looking up a whole bunch of other stuff with it. That's showing the.
Yeah, I'm literally clicked up on magnetosphere, and this is what came up.
Okay, yeah.
Nani, I appreciate the glowing jellyfish. Thank you so much.
You're purposely finding the worst looking ones. I could show you.
I'm literally, dude. You can look at them. I'll literally click on. Literally, look.
Look at that red. Okay, the one. I can't really see. Yeah. That one right there. Any of those, man. Those ones you bypass.
Any of these? None of these look like a fucking dude.
How could you not?
You gotta
see
be
a person?
kidding me,
It's
bro.
got a head. There's two legs. It's got arms like vans. I mean, that is in the image and likeness of a person. Perfectly. You know? The firmament could be the top of the head and all of it.
Appreciate the superpower. Thank you so much.
Well, look up the Egyptian Ankh. It's the exact
Dude, I'm
symbol.
sorry, man. I'm sorry, man. I'll be totally real with you, man. Is this what convinced you?
No. It's the next thing that convinced me.
It convinced you to some degree, though?
Sorry?
It convinced you to some degree?
I mean, it was just extra evidence after I found out that God was real, but I mean, I wouldn't say it convinced me.
So it did convince you to some degree?
No, it just corroborated.
No, okay, it didn't. Okay, so good. What convinced you?
Well, what convinced me was the story of Noah, and how many animals. Well, I wouldn't say this part, but this was very strange to find. I grew up as an atheist, right? Because when I was 6 years old, I was a lot like you. I was just like, this is ridiculous. I mean, that doesn't make any sense.
I grew up Christian.
Yeah, well, I started off in Christian church, but when I was 6, I said, I thought the same thing. I think you said at one time about God killing people, but being love, and the contradictions were just absurd. And I honestly couldn't reconcile with creation either. But every story, every movie, every Christian I've ever heard in my life said that there were 2 of each animal that came onto the ark. Everybody I've ever talked to, every movie, everything. But that's not what the Bible says. The Bible says 14 of each clean, 14 of each foul, and 4 of each unclean. And that I thought was very strange. It was very interesting.
Okay, so do you want to let's run through some arguments, right? Like, here, I'm just gonna run an argument on you, right? Do you think God has free will?
Yeah, go for it.
Do you think God has free will?
God has free will.
Can God do evil?
Yes, God does create evil.
He does. So is God all good?
God creates evil.
So God is all good yet creates evil?
I didn't say he was all good.
So God isn't all good.
It doesn't say that in the Bible.
So you dispute the idea that God is all-knowing, all-powerful, and all good.
It doesn't say those things.
It doesn't say all good or all-knowing, all-powerful?
No, I don't think so, no.
So why do Christians commonly believe this?
Because they think Jesus is God.
You don't think Jesus is God?
I know Jesus isn't God. It doesn't say that in the Bible.
You're Muslim.
Yes.
So why are you asking? Why are you bringing up the Bible? Do you believe God is all-knowing, all-powerful, and all good?
In respect for my religion, I'm bringing up the Bible because I don't want to quote anything wrong. Now, these concepts are explained in a lot better detail in the Quran, but I have
the Quran, right? Does it say that God is all-knowing, all-powerful, and all good?
Yes.
Okay, so do you believe God is all good then?
It doesn't say. It says the most merciful, the most gracious. He's got a whole bunch of names.
Is he all good?
What do you mean by all good?
He's going to do the best possible thing? Or anything he does is good?
I wouldn't say that. It
You
doesn't
wouldn't
say
say
that.
anything God does is good.
No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't say that.
So there are some things that God does that are bad?
I wouldn't consider them bad, but you're talking about subjective values that are just in the eye of the beholder, whether good or
I'm
bad.
saying in terms of God's own view.
In God's own view?
Does God ever do anything bad under his own view?
How would I know God's view?
Appreciate the handout, thank you. Because it's in the Quran?
His view, there's things that please him, but it's not like that. And I'd really rather not talk about the Quran. I was going to prove him with the Bible if I could.
That's not what you believe in. You literally believe that the Bible's false.
Most of it, yes. I believe that
you have to believe that Jesus did not resurrect and Jesus is not God.
I don't think he died on the cross, and I don't think the Bible says that either, to be honest with you. I'm not sure why they do believe it, because if you actually read it, it says he was crucified on a Friday, but on the Sunday, the first day of the week, in 3 different occasions, the Mary that goes to the sepulcher and sees Jesus risen and gone, and there's the whole story about Joseph taking his body with Nicodemus showing up before Joseph even got there. It looks like a total magic show. So,
I mean, if you want to believe that it's a magic show, you just disproved it. There you go. It's a magic show. I agree. Let's go. Next.
Yeah.
So when it relates to your worldview, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Quran.
Yes.
Okay. So how do we know that this is going to be a justified position?
Well, the Quran says that God made it look like it was a show. So
the Quran does make that claim.
Yes.
Thank you for the lightning. I appreciate it. Thank you so much, Nani. W Nani's in the comment section right now. I appreciate it, Nani.
Which to me is more evidence that God is real, but that's kind of like what let me know that Islam and the Quran is factual out of all the... So the Quran even says the message that God had sent to us multiple times throughout the ages, right? All the prophets up to Muhammad is what we believe in Muslim, right? But we don't think that any of them sinned, and we think all that stuff was added to the Bible for nefarious purposes, basically.
So yeah, I understand that you have those beliefs. I'm asking, how do you know that this is like that this particular God exists?
Because besides the plasma and stuff that you don't really get, there is a visual evidence in the story of Noah. The flood, all right, so there is no evidence that there was water all over the world, right? We don't also believe that in Islam. But what this flood is, and the whole reason I was explaining all this stuff in the beginning, is that water from above. It is plasma. It is raining down from the sky. There's a layer of ash over the entire Middle East that is attributed to no volcanic eruption around that same time. And that's crazy.
That one gets me every time, dude.
So
every time.
That flood,
Shane, I appreciate the happy witch. Thank you so much. Every time I get scared by that one. I'm not gonna lie. It is so fucking loud.
Mm-hmm. That flood that is described is not talking about water. What liquid water? It's talking about that plasma. It says that everything on the dry land with the breath of life in it was, terminated, and God calls it the waters above with the breath of life therein, and that's a ode to plasma being in our blood, the breath of life. But
so the breath you're saying that God's saying that there was a breath of life is an ode to plasma? I don't understand that.
Well, this plasma from space has the regenerative abilities after, if it rains down and burns, just like you would a forest fire would burn and then it grows back better. So that's kind of like the essence behind the whole breath of life thing, but that's not even that important, right? Because it just relates to the plasma that's in our blood. But the waters from space is in the Bible describing the flood. That's what it's talking about. It's talking about plasma raining down. In the illuminated manuscripts from the 11th and 12th centuries, they actually drew angels falling out from above the magnetosphere. All the Bibles in Europe were drawn, picture books. And I'm not sure where these flat earthers are getting a lot of their theories of the earth being flat, that people believe the earth was flat, because it was a sphere in the 11th century, the 12th century, and 13th century, and they drew it. And they even drew the magnetosphere around the planet. If you look up the Crusade,
can we just get to the points, right? Like, you believe that God is perfect.
perfection is in the eyes of the beholder. It's not a
Under his own view.
subjective value. What?
Do you want me to give you a verse?
I mean, you can, but I'm saying but what is the point in that? It's everybody's got their own opinions about what perfect is. I mean, I think my son is perfect.
I'm talking about God's own notion of perfect.
God's own notion of perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you know God's own notion of perfect?
That whatever they consider to be flawless, right?
I don't know. I don't assume to know what God knows.
You're just being unnecessarily difficult, bro. Do you not know your own view?
I know my own view. I think he's perfect. In my eyes, God is perfect. Yes, but that to his eyes, who? No,
I'm talking not in your own God, under what's designated by the Quran.
Do you have a better word besides perfect? You want to say flawless? Yeah, he's flawless. You know.
Okay. So, do you think he's a flawless creator? Yeah.
I mean, what do you mean by a flawless creator? Does he create things with flaws? Yes, he creates evil. He creates things with flaws. He creates jinn. He creates.
So yeah, then he's not a flawless creator.
No, I mean he creates things with flaws in it. Sure.
So how could a flawless creator create something with flaws in it? Like, for example, if someone's a flawless test taker, would you expect them to have flaws within the test they take?
So that's an argument that you have to have something to give something, right? Is that what you're getting at?
No. Saying if you're flawless, you can't if you're a flawless creator, you can't create something with flaws.
If that's his prerogative and his purpose, then he can create it however. But if you see it as a flaw, he may not. If I see it as a flaw or perfection, you may not. If my child makes a mistake in school,
let me ask the question: flawless free throw shooter. What do you expect to see?
Okay, we're not talking about free throw shooting here. However, this is not a.
Hey, I want you to answer the question. It's an analogy.
Whatever his desire was to accomplish would be his own decision if it was perfect or not. An outsider, it's in the eyes of the beholder. Perfection.
Yeah, are you going to be a politician someday?
Yes. Yeah, should be. Yeah. Sure.
Yeah, because you've got a PhD in dodging.
Yeah,
that's
dude,
pretty great.
Look, I mean, I'd be better than Trump or Biden. Give me a break.
PhD in deflection.
Would you rather have the dog and pony show we have now?
Dude, you're honestly, I think you're about to get signed to the LA Dodgers.
Dude, let's do it. I'll free throw all day, baby. Hook, line, and sinker.
The Dodgers are baseball.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Hook, line, and sinker.
Free throw all day.
Yeah, dude, do that too. I also said hook, line, and sinker. I'm down with it. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, dude, I don't know, bro. This is absolutely wild, dude.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, I'm not gonna lie. Like, you deflected so hard from the question.
I told you I didn't want to talk about Islam from the beginning. Yeah,
if you don't want to talk about your own view, then why'd you join a fucking lie to prove God exists? You won't even prove the God you believe in exists. You're gonna prove a God that you think doesn't exist.
No, that's
like
not,
what? That's incoherent.
That's
gibberish.
That's not the purpose, right? That is not the purpose. I haven't even gotten to the argument of it yet. Right? The fact that these things and this next thing that I'm going to tell you about is in any book, now let alone the Bible and the Quran and the Bhagavad Gita. The fact that any of these things are in there is proof that there's some form of higher intelligence that gave unto that knowledge to someone. Now, the fact that it is in all of those and nobody has noticed it is even more evidence of, and this next thing, which is visible, being tied into those things is impossible unless there is God who can give knowledge to someone.
Wait, let's go over this. Being tied into those things. Being tied into what again?
Being tied into the plasma from space, because there's in the firmament.
What being tied into the plasma? Appreciate the Lucy. Thank you.
Well, I haven't given that last piece of evidence yet, so I'd have to tell you about it first. Yeah, but that being tied into the plasma. So. You know it as Aurora Borealis and Aurora Australis. They are the northern and southern lights, most beautiful lights. Now, they're constantly showing, but sometimes they're not too visible, and they're usually up around the north and south poles, but they will extend all the way down to, say, Mexico sometimes if they want to, or up to, China from the other side. But they are formed, from what we know now, from plasma that actually does make it past the magnetosphere. That plasma is subsequently destroyed in our atmosphere by mostly unknown processes, but ultimately by the gases in our atmosphere. And what's produced is the southern lights. Those lights are described multiple times in the Bible and in the Quran and in the Bhagavad Gita. And when God flooded the world and then made a promise to Noah afterwards, God tells Noah that he was going to put bows in the clouds to mark a promise to never let the waters above flood the world and cut flesh from bone and to destroy all life ever again. Now, those bows are the bow lights of the aurora borealis. In Ezekiel,
Are you saying that those only came about after God did that?
that's what the
So
Bible.
are you saying that they didn't exist?
That's what the
But
Bible.
don't we have historical evidence to indicate that the Northern Lights
We have
existed
no
prior to this
documented
point?
evidence of the Northern Lights until the 1700s, when it's funny. My
No.
ancestor Louis Delisle recorded them.
I mean, but that's way after. That's way after the Noah's Ark.
Yes.
So you didn't even have documentation of it after or any time around that
They
time.
thought
like
it was
even,
water. They thought it was liquid water, and they.
So if you didn't have documentation of it prior to
it would be
that claim in the
impossible for
Old
it to be
Testament,
it would be impossible for it to be
I
in
want
there.
you to
Correct.
listen.
You're right. It'd be impossible.
It doesn't demonstrate anything.
It does,
Because
'cause it
again,
is in there.
no, hold up, because it wasn't even documented prior to this happening. So if it wasn't documented
It wasn't
prior to this
documented anywhere.
happening,
And the Greek philosophers.
I
who
want
wrote
you
the
to. Can
Bible-
you let me? Yo, man, do I have to like mute you?
No.
Okay.
Continue.
I'm gonna like forget. Like I'm pretty sure I just forgot what I was talking about. Can you remind me?
It wasn't documented before. You were considering the facts of why. If it wasn't documented, then how would they know about it, right? It's a good question.
Oh, so if it wasn't documented, how can they know this particular action stopped it from happening
That's right. They couldn't have known
or
unless
started it from happening if it wasn't documented before?
they didn't find out until recently what causes the aurora borealis. Yet it's in the Bible. It's in
Not what causes it, but see it.
But see it. Yeah, what causes us to see it?
No, did we see the Northern Lights then?
I'm sure somebody in Iceland would have had to have, but it wasn't recorded.
Okay, so if we saw it throughout the entire time, well then it literally was there the whole time and it didn't go away. So I don't know what you're talking about.
It was not recorded until the 1700s.
Recorded to the cause, or that we saw it?
We just discovered the cause, and we just discovered the magnetic.
Not the cause. I'm asking, did they see it?
Did people see it?
Yes.
How am I supposed to know? It wasn't recorded till the 1700s.
So it wasn't recorded to be observed until then?
At all.
Holy shit, answer my question. Is it the observed? Did they fucking observe it? Or was that when they figured out when the cause was?
Okay,
holy fuck, dude. I don't know. Am I speaking gibberish
right
now, bro?
Am I speaking gibberish? And I told you.
No, dude, am I speaking gibberish right now,
I answered your question already.
No, you didn't, dude.
It was not recorded until the 1700s.
What? What
does that
was
mean?
fucking recorded? The cause or them observing it?
No, we just recently found the cause of aurora borealis. But
was that in the 1700s when we found the fucking cause?
No, recently.
Or was that when we observed
the last couple decades, man. Recently.
Okay. Fuck, we figured out the cause recently. We observed it in the 1700s. Holy shit, dude.
Yeah.
Oh my
I said
God,
that 10 times, bro. What is
No,
wrong?
you didn't. No, you didn't.
Yeah.
You actually didn't
Okay.
clarify that.
Okay.
That's why I had to fucking ask, bro.
Okay.
That's wild, bro.
Yeah, very wild.
Okay, what's your point with this though?
Yeah, the fact that aurora borealis is related to plasma being destroyed, and it's God's promise that relates to the firmament, which is the magnetosphere. None of that stuff could have been known if aurora borealis was not recorded until the 1700s. So there's no way that should be in the Bible.
Wait, they don't know the cause of it. They didn't know the cause of it.
Yes, but the Bible explains it.
No, this relies upon your initial fucking claim about the water shit.
Yes, but that is true.
You don't have that justification.
I do.
Give that, go find it.
I've done the research.
Go find it. Go find it. Then give it to me.
I've done the research.
Then give it to me.
Okay, that's fine.
I'm waiting.
I know you are.
Do 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 do.
You just don't want it to see, and that's another thing. For willingly, they are ignorant of the heavens are of old, and And the earth was standing out of the water and in the water. What? This right here says that hydrogen and oxygen is in the atmosphere of stars. Water is over the past 30 years, water has been discovered almost everywhere in space. Orbital.
That's not a claim about plasma being water.
That is the same thing because plasma.
No, it's fucking not.
Plasma's 99% of space, buddy. That's everywhere.
Lies.
No, it's not. You
Lies.
read it.
No. Stop. Okay. It is 99.9% of space.
That's everywhere.
But it is the case that just because it is like in comets and stuff like that doesn't mean that plasma in of itself is water.
Now that's water. You know it is. That's ridiculous.
No. No, you were referencing all of the plasma.
It is.
No, you were trying to reference.
Space. I told you.
Okay, I'm gonna fucking mute you. Okay, you were trying to reference all of the plasma that is in space being water, which is not a claim that's entailed by you making that claim there. Okay, not all the plasma is fucking water. You have no justification for that. Find me a single fucking source, accredited source that says that. I'd love to fucking see it, bro. I'd love to see it. Okay. Can unmute, by the way. In the meantime, everyone keep tapping that screen. Everyone share the live. We're almost to 1,000 shares as well. Everyone copy link, send it to a few friends. I get you, Chance. By the way, everyone, if you want to have access to the sub-only chat right now, subscribe to me if you haven't already. I come on here every single day. Everyone, Boyhole, thank you so much. Everyone's welcome, Boyhole. How you doing today? Appreciate it. Everyone, if you want to have access to the sub-only chat, subscribe again if you haven't already, y'all. Did you hear me? Hello.
I can hear you.
Are you there?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. So, did you hear me?
What? Do you have any
Did you hear what I
evidence to
said?
prove me wrong? What?
I asked you for any evidence.
I just gave you one. Orbital Today?
No, you didn't.
Yes,
What
I
was
did.
it?
Orbital
You're
Today.
muted.
Orbitaltoday.com. Over the past 30 years, we've discovered that. I mean, you can go to NASA. You can go to NASA.gov. You can go to anywhere. Like I said, all you have to do is type in water in space, man.
Ibrahim, I appreciate the subscription. Thank you so much.
It is
Welcome. Say
literally
welcome. So
what-
it's what is the title?
It is just type in waters in space. Water has been found. Do it in ChatGPT.
This does not justify your fucking claim. You didn't listen to me.
Look at it.
I literally have read it.
Now
Literally, it does not mean that plasma in of itself is fucking water. Like all plasma that's in space. Okay?
Okay, no. Some of the plasmic matter in space is made up of irradiated particles. I've already said that.
Some is water, but that does not mean
Yes, but
all is water.
water
This
is
is called
pretty
hold
much
up. This is
everything,
a composite. Hold up. This is a composition fallacy. You saying because a part operates a particular way, that means the whole operates this way.
Do you know much about the Roman or Greek civilizations and how they?
No, I don't think about the Roman Empire much. I bet you do.
The Roman Empire and the Greeks believed in
course.
this thing called the humors, that the liquid of your body was all the same thing, and it existed in different levels. It was a very strange medical phenomena they had, right? So they would bleed you if you were crying too much, or if you had too much snot, like allergies, to keep your waters in balance or whatnot. They had one word for all of the fluid in your body, including semen. Tears, saliva, blood, right? It's called the humors. You can look that up too if you don't believe me. They would have not been able to write a different word besides waters above. Even with that, it is still technically water, and it's nothing else you could call it, because plasma is not a chemical. It is a state of matter. It has been described by astrophysicists.
Hey. Well, you know what I want?
It has the
I want you
characteristics
to stop. I want you to stop yapping, and I want you to give me a source that indicates to us that all plasma
It
is
doesn't have to be
water.
all plasma. It doesn't have to be all plasma, and it's not.
I need the source right now. Plasma equal water. Give it to me right now.
It doesn't have to be plasma equal to water. You don't understand how space behaves. That's not.
What do you mean? I don't understand how space behaves. You made a claim.
I did
that,
not
again,
say that all plasma.
You
is
made
water.
it. Stop yapping. You made a claim.
I'm not yapping.
Yeah, you're yapping right now, bro. You are definitely
I'm trying to
yapping.
describe it to you.
I'm gonna be so real, dude. I'm gonna be
trying
so
to-
fucking for real.
What
Okay,
I-
let me finish.
Go ahead.
Okay, so again, you made a claim that said that the plasma particularly is water, like because you're referencing it being an ocean in like a literal sense.
Okay, so when I said it is the water, I'm talking about the water that is referenced from the Bible. It is made.
But it's not.
It is. It
It like
is.
literally is not.
It is. It is literally oxygen and
No,
hydrogen, supercharged particles. It is.
it is not. It is not H2O.
It doesn't have.
Give me any accredited source that says that it's H2O.
I want
All
you to give
the
me
plasma.
a source that an atom actually exists in its current form. It's a model, man.
Oh, we have it. We absolutely. You can literally observe it.
Space.
You can literally observe it. I can send that to you. But like again, can you please just give me one source?
Atmosphere is
One.
evidence enough. When it cools down and it enters our atmosphere, it turns into.
No, it's not. Our atmosphere is not evidence about the rest of space. Those would be two fundamentally fucking different things. Okay.
You're telling me
What I
the
need you to
ocean's
justify me.
completely made of H2O?
Yes, I need you to give me evidence that space itself is H2O. Yes.
Give me evidence the ocean is H2O.
Thank you.
All the ocean is H2O. You can't, because it has other chemicals mixed in with it. It is oxygen and hydrogen, just like our oceans are, right? Just like
Christiane, I appreciate the subscription. Thank you so much.
just like the
Chat.
atmosphere is.
Chat. He did not just say that.
Just
bro.
like clouds are.
Chat.
right?
Chat.
They're different
chat,
chemicals.
Chat. Someone, please fucking save me. Chat. Please fucking save me.
Earth
Someone,
is
please.
flat,
I need
sea
help.
level is
Someone
level,
actually
but it's
prove
flat.
to me that the ocean is H2O. Did you really just ask me that question?
Yeah. Prove it. All water, all H2O, just like you said with space. Prove that it's all H2O and nothing else. And you can't, because it has other things in it. Right?
I'm gonna ask you this question. I'll ask you this question, even if you want to reference it that way, because it is the case that it's still H. No. What'd you just say? What'd you just say to me? Say that again. Say that again.
Out of all the people you've had up here,
No, before that. Appreciate the Newton. Thank you so much for the subscription.
You've had up here, this is what makes you the most upset.
I'm not like upset right now. Am I
I
upset?
don't know. You seem upset. It seems.
I swear, I can literally just be sitting here vibing, bro, and like people will think that you're angry. It's like actually amazing. I love it, honestly.
If you're not angry,
I honestly, I don't know what indicated to you that I was angry right now.
probably like you pulling your hair up.
Katine, I appreciate the subscription. Thank you so
rocking around
much.
in your seat.
Me being like flabbergasted like this?
Yeah.
What are you talking? That's because you're saying some shit that's crazy.
It's not crazy. It's new, but all.
No, it's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy. Can we get back to like the point?
Sure. Yeah.
So again, right? Can you give me any evidence that would indicate that it's the same level of H2O as the ocean?
I don't think it's the same level of H2O as the ocean.
Oh, so it's not an ocean?
It is an ocean of plasma.
It's an ocean of plasma.
Yeah.
So what do you mean by ocean? Do you actually mean water, or what do you mean?
I mean an ocean, like the word.
Does ocean? What does ocean mean? Liv Tuscan, I appreciate the subscription. Thank you so much. And that's just an equivocation of the different types of water.
Or liquid, or
liquid, yeah.
gas, or anything. Ocean is just a description of matter.
No. Can you give me a definition?
It is
I'd go off of made from water, salts, and other substances.
a very large expanse of sea. In particular, each of the main areas in
What's
which
sea?
the sea is divided geographically.
What's the sea?
The sea? Because there's a bunch of seas, but I think this might be a different.
An ocean of gas, so real.
An ocean of gas, yeah.
Not a cloud, the ocean.
Yeah, well, I mean, you just read the astrophysics textbooks. That's what they say.
Yeah, because they're using a fucking analogy, my guy.
It's okay. Then why can't the Bible be using an analogy?
It's an analogy. Okay, the Bible can be an analogy.
Excellent.
Okay. What part are you referring to? I never disputed that the Bible could have parables in it.
It does have parables, but those are like.
It clearly does. It clearly is parables.
Well, it says it. He says he does. It says he speaks in parables. So yeah.
Okay. So like, again, what's your point though?
Well, even the fact that it is an analogy, as you say, it is still impossible.
D, thank you so much for the whale diving. I
Yeah,
appreciate it,
that's
D.
awesome.
Thank you very much.
They had that. Even if it is an analogy and not specific as you think it is, those things are still impossible to be in these books, referenced many and multiple times, without them having some type of higher knowledge. If you can give me a better,
Just because the analogy is similar to one used in science doesn't mean that it justifies
it's
that
not
this is something
similar.
scientific
It's
in the Bible.
particularly.
Come on,
It
bro.
is too.
Come
It
on.
is too particularly related. It is too related
No, it's not
to
too
be anything
related.
else.
It really isn't. It
Yes, it
really
is.
isn't. They
What
literally
else
just have.
divides? What
They
else?
literally just both use the ocean as a fucking analogy.
What
That's
else
it.
divides
It's
the
literally
waters in space
wait.
from
Two
waters above and
different
waters
people
below?
using. Hold up. Stop. Two different people using the ocean as an analogy does not mean just
That's
because one claim is right that means the other claim is right.
yeah. I
What?
didn't use two people using the word analogy. I'm using they're actually
Yeah,
being
you
water.
two different Yeah, you gave two different circumstances where people engaged in analogies.
No, I gave you a whole bunch of things. You
What?
are
You
just
gave me how science used an analogy in astrophysics, right? And then also how the Bible used an analogy when it relates to
okay.
like
Then
the ocean.
you tell me
Right? Just
what
because they
else.
both use an analogy that relates to the ocean doesn't necessarily mean that because one is right, the other one is.
Then
It
you
could have been the case that because people in a society have read the Bible, that it could have influenced whether or not someone even used this in the first place. That could
no.
have
The
been part
Greek
of it.
authors wrote
Otherwise,
about why they
again,
used it.
people use the ocean. Let me fucking finish, please. People use the ocean, right, as an analogy for things all the fucking time.
Mm-hmm. Yes, but the Greek authors who wrote the Bible specifically said they did not believe in this firmament that was called a dome that was, over the planet, and they only put it in there because the people that were getting impaled by the Roman Empire were vehement about it being in there. And they said they didn't want to put it in there, but they did anyway, because those same Greek philosophers who wrote it wrote other things as well. So explain to me what else could separate waters from waters. Waters above from the waters below.
That's not waters, though.
It is waters. It is.
It really fucking isn't, dude.
It
It
is.
really is not.
Go to
It really is not,
nasa.gov and
dude.
look up.
It's not waters like it's not waters like insofar as like a literal ocean. There are
You have
some
no
waters in
evidence.
space.
You have no
Actually, the
evidence
coral,
of
thank
that.
you so much.
Give me some evidence. You can't just say that. You have
What do you
no
mean, give you
evidence.
some evidence?
I've given you evidence where it says there's waters almost everywhere in space.
Do I need to give you evidence that there isn't water everywhere in space?
That is what the literally.
Can't you like
literally-
unironically literally fucking use a telescope and literally see that there's no fucking water?
Dude, if you look up waters in space, it says there is water almost everywhere in space.
No, not all. No, they have found water in many places in space. That doesn't mean everywhere in the universe there's water. I
That's
appreciate the
what
segue. Thank you so much.
They say
I promise
everywhere.
you. Stop. No, literally, dude.
Where's your
holy fuck.
source? Where's your source?
Again, do you want me to? I can give you. I can give
Any
you right
source.
now.
Give me one, just one source. Any source
Yes.
that says there's not water in plasma in space.
No, I'm not saying that there's no water in general. That's not the claim that I've made.
If
But I've
there's
said,
any water, then
stop talking, dude. Stop. Let me fucking finish, please.
Okay.
Okay? Literally, I'm not saying that there's absolutely no fucking water in space. I'm saying that it is not clearly, like, almost wholly made up of water.
I didn't
That
say
is
it was
not
made up
true.
of water either.
Okay, so you're not making a claim that it's like an ocean.
It is like an ocean, but it is not
No,
like our
no,
ocean.
not true. Not fucking true.
The
Literally define ocean. Define ocean.
The astrophysicists say that it is an ocean of plasma. They
It's
say
an analogy. Can you define ocean? I'm
already
talking in
did.
literal sense of what an ocean is.
I already did. I read
Define
out
it.
the
Just give it to me
definition
again.
for you.
Just give it to me again.
Oh gosh. Look, I'm sorry you're having a hard trouble understanding this, but it's not that hard.
It's not me having a hard time understanding. It's you literally not having any justification. Let's be fucking for real.
Of sea.
What's the sea, dude? I asked you that and you never
It
answered.
doesn't say what the sea is. It just says
Just
it's a
define the
large
sea. Just look
expanse
up what the
of
sea is. How do you define the sea?
The expanse. That's what we call space too. Isn't that crazy? The expanse. Deep space. What is the full meaning of the ocean?
I like how actually, by the way, you never literally gave me any evidence to say that like it was mostly water in space.
You pulled
or
it up on your phone.
even a lot of water in space.
You pulled
right?
it up on your phone. It's
Again,
literally everywhere.
literally, and it doesn't say it's mostly water.
Says it is mostly
No
everywhere.
actual fucking physicist.
Wait a second.
right,
I didn't say
no
mostly
physicist.
water. I
No
said
actual
everywhere.
physicist. No actual physicist
You
would
know
make
that?
a claim that the space is like an actual ocean.
Okay, who said it is an actual ocean? Nobody. That's not the claim we're making. I'm not saying
what was the
liquid
claim then?
water. It is not
Go
liquid.
back to the claim.
It is not liquid water. It is waters of space. It is what it is.
What does that even mean? What does that mean? Define. What do you mean? What are the waters of space? What is that supposed to mean?
Supercharged irradiated particles that are about 30,000 degree Kelvin, traveling faster than the speed of sound, that are surrounding us in all directions, that are parted like the Red Seas as our electromagnetic shield travels through space and leaves a tunnel behind us. That is the water.
I'm asking. No, what do you What? That was. I don't even know what that means. Dude.
Okay, go to nasa.gov and look up the electromagnetic shield or the magnetosphere, and there will be videos and explanations of these waters. It looks like water in all the models. It behaves like water. It has waves. It moves like water. It moves like the ocean. It is what it is. It is just superheated water, like past the point of steam and gas. It is plasma. It is what it is. That's why we haven't been able to
what oxygen is in space? Where's there oxygen in space?
It is in that plasma. The solar wind. It is in the solar wind.
Is it all over space?
Yes.
Is oxygen all over space?
Yes.
Like everywhere.
Well, I don't know about like neutron stars and black holes. It might actually have a chemical change.
Is oxygen everywhere in fucking space?
Yeah, just about. Yeah. Just about.
That's false. Give me a source. Give me a source right now.
Oh my gosh, man! How many?
Give me one.
Okay.
Like you've actually failed to give me a single fucking one.
I have
Scooby Dooby. I appreciate the subscription. Thank you so much.
I told you a few different sources. Okay.
Give me one for this. Give me one. I'm actually gonna fucking mute you until you give me the source. Oh wait, I'm actually gonna wait. I want you to unmute yourself once you find the source. Okay. I don't even want to hear it anymore. I don't even want to hear the gibberish come out of your mouth, man. I've heard fucking enough already. Low key, bro. This is enough, dude. I don't want to hear the yapping anymore. Just please give me the source. I've asked for a source so many times today, and you've kept yapping insofar that you never even brought up the source. So I'm going to give you fucking time to go find the source. I see that you're still not paused. Go find the source. Come on, bro. I can't even do it anymore, chat. It's actually unbelievable. How long have we been talking about the same topic, chat? I don't know. Maybe that's it. I blame that. Yeah, I appreciate the gamer cat. Thank you so much, Christy. Oh my god, my voice cracked. Oh, that was so bad. That was so bad. Yeah, okay, come on. This is actually a bit brutal, dude. Oh my god, Nani! Nani! I fucking love that shit. That's honestly the fucking coolest fucking animation. W Nani with the fucking nebula. W Nani with the nebula. That shit is so cool. That shit is my favorite one. I think that is my favorite one. I'm not gonna lie. W Nani in the chat. Let's fucking go, everyone. Let's go. Did you find it?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
That's a long ass. Okay, so just type in waters in space, and it's htschool.hindustantimes.com, and it's got sources and a description of the waters of space. Space water
Waters
is
in
100.
space. Hindu stand times. Okay.
Yeah, space water is 140 times trillion more than that found on Earth. The massive water cloud in space weighs more than a 40.
Well, actually, that would be expected given how big like the universe is.
Well, yeah.
But like that doesn't mean that it's everywhere. So let's read what this says.
I mean, everything you look up says it though. Like, has any water been found in space? Enormous amounts of water and gases.
So they automatically look for signs of water on other space bodies. Luckily, we already have evidence that water exists in space. Space agencies like the NERO, NASA, and ISRO, among others, invest millions of dollars in searching for water on other planets. So when water was found in a gaseous state near Quasar, a massive black hole, it was indeed a big deal. So I have a question. So it's a big deal to find something that is apparently literally everywhere in the universe under your
gas is
view?
water. Okay, so that's just letting you know it can be in another state besides liquid. First off, how does that gas form? It forms from the plasma being cooled down.
Aren't you arguing that this is gaseous water? I mean, gaseous water
Not gas,
relates
it's
to
plasmic water. Plasma. Gas.
Yeah,
so as it cools and it becomes more dense, it turns into gas.
Plasmic water?
Yes, that's the whole time. That's what I've been saying the whole time. I know it's hard to grasp because it's foreign concepts. It's astrophysics, but it is.
Where in astrophysics does it say this?
On the first page. This is the basis of astrophysics, right? So, and nobody understands it. Nobody knows this stuff. I get it. I get it. So I'm not upset. But if you go to Ocean Worlds on NASA.gov, it does a great explanation, right? Enormous amounts of water in gaseous form exist in vast stellar nurseries of our galaxy. It's almost everywhere in space. That is what we are traveling through and why we cannot get into space, right? There's this thing called the Kármán line, or the edge of space. It is a physical boundary that we have encountered that just won't. I mean, we can't have thrust. We don't even know how to like go through it. The only space that we have gone is where the planet has been, and that's where we sent Voyager. That's almost gotten all the way out to the magnetic shield of the sun, which is even bigger than the magnetosphere of the planet, and it's going through its
Hey
own
man,
ocean.
like I want you to relate to the idea that there is water insofar as that it makes up what we would consider a sea or an ocean.
Yes,
Claims that
that's
you were fucking making.
okay. Go
There is
to
not the water in the particular set of circumstances in which would indicate an ocean or in terms of a sea.
I'm on your Discord.
You
Would you like
making
me
that
to?
claim is clearly fucking not true.
Would you like
And I
me
think that
to?
you're trying to misuse the
Not
fact that
misusing it.
the universe is so Sheldon, I appreciate the subscription.
Would
Thank you
you
so much.
like me to
The
upload it
universe
to
is
your
so
Discord?
massive.
I have your Discord. Would you like me to
I'm
upload?
literally just gonna mute you. Okay. It's like constant. It's like constant. I think you're misusing like the fact that the universe is so expansive and the fact that there's so much water, right? Because the universe is so expansive, not because it's literally everywhere in the universe, but because there are many points throughout the universe in which it is in, right? Not like literally in terms of what we would expect at the sea or an ocean when it's condensed into areas, right, that are massive throughout literally the entire universe. I'm saying the entire universe, not in little teeny points. Okay. I'm saying in all of the 99.9% of the plasma that you were referencing. All right. And Thomas, thank you so much for the Venmo. I appreciate it. Thank you so much, Thomas. You're unmuted. You can unmute, by the way. I sent it to you. In the meantime, everyone, tap that screen. Let's try to get to 1 million likes. If you want to help get out to more people, keep sharing the live, everyone. Go for it. Do you want to respond?
I can't even remember what you said. I can't remember what I was saying. That's why I say it when I can, because I mean I don't know what you want. Go to NASA. Just type in Ocean Worlds and go to NASA.com.
So you didn't hear a single thing I just said.
I don't remember what you said. No, I don't. I didn't listen because I was trying to remember what I was going to say to it. And
We're going to the next person, everyone. I don't care. I actually don't give a fuck. We're gone. Abraham, I just tried to get you up. We're going to the next person who didn't accept you. Yeah, what's up? How old are you?
I'm 21.
For sure. Do you believe in God?
Absolutely.
Why so?
Because it's evident in all creation. He made the earth and the skies and the universe, and the universe wasn't made out of a big bang or evolution.
So we observe the Big Bang and we do observe evolution. These are just both facts of reality. We still observe them today. We observe the fossil record that indicates to us that there are different types of evolutionary patterns clearly that exist. We can reference cosmic background radiation photons to kind of see like the smoke from like a gunshot in terms of the Big Bang. We can also see red shifts that indicate to us that different things within our universe are moving away from us, indicating expansion. So clearly speaking, these are facts of reality. Where the Big Bang came from is undetermined. We don't know, right? But that does not mean that it refers to a God, one. And two, again, that does not mean that the Big Bang didn't happen just because there is a God. There can be a God, and it could have caused the Big Bang.
It's really sad that you believe that the whole entire infinite universe, you're not sure what that was evolved of and what that came from. I believe that you should know clearly what our nature comes from. There had to be a creator for it all. Therefore, you're illogical.
You never gave me a reason to believe that I was illogical. But like, why is it sad? Because like you didn't really argue against any of my points there.
Oh, I'm just saying that you haven't proved yourself either that what caused the Big Bang.
I don't know what caused the Big Bang.
That doesn't sound very good. I mean, I wouldn't be very confident to believe in something that you don't really know what created it. You realize that
I don't have a belief in terms of what caused the universe because I don't know.
Okay.
I don't think you know either. What I do is I acknowledge reality. What you do is you believe in fairy tales.
Oh
Okay.
no, I believe in facts. I believe that there's a Jesus that walked this earth. There's scientific proof of that, and
Scientific. What scientific proof?
all scientists have said that there is a Jesus that walked this earth, that died on the cross for our sins, and that the tomb has actually been found. It's actually been found, the tomb that he resurrected from. It's been
So the tomb.
founded.
So if you want to reference the tomb, I don't even have good evidence to believe that Jesus would have been in a state in which there was a tomb in the first place, right? As it is the case that most individuals that were crucified were left on the cross to decompose, not put into a tomb. So we have very good reason to believe that Jesus wouldn't have been in a tomb in the first place,
It says
right?
clearly in the
And I want to
Bible.
clarify what I mean by fairy tale. In the sense is that, like, if you don't have a justification for your position, or if it yields a contradiction, right? There's no way that we can say that that corresponds with reality.
I mean,
Right? That's my notion.
Oh no, I'm just saying, like, people are now today walking in the tomb that they've found where Jesus laid, where his body laid. They found it. They've noted as that's where Jesus laid to rest for three
That's a
days.
claim.
3 days.
Can you,
No,
where
that's a
what
fact.
evidence do they have for
It's a
that?
fact. It's everybody knows that.
How? Can you give me a source?
You can look it up. Google. Google is your source. Look
Yeah,
up.
yeah. Where
Look
on
up. They
Google?
have found the tomb, and it's in Israel. They found Noah's Ark.
So I appreciate the fireworks. Thank you so much, Christy. I
They
appreciate it.
found
So
Noah's Ark. There's proof
so first
on
of all, you have to
evidence.
give me. You can give me what evidence do you have of Noah's Ark?
They found it
But the tomb that you're referencing, how do you associate it with Jesus?
because they know that's where he was. They found the prison
What do you
that
mean they
Jesus.
know? What do you mean they know? How
They
do they find Jesus' DNA? Do they know that it was
just like how
particularly
they
from Jesus?
studied.
Like,
Just
how do
like
they
how
figure
they
that out?
Just like how they studied the fossils that you're claiming that they dated to BC in those times, and they found those fossils. They found a tomb where they realized that his body laid and was deceased on, and
How do they figure that out?
you it's it's in the Bible. They have Dead Sea
It's claim
Scrolls.
in the Bible. Just because there's a
Dead
claim in the
Sea
Bible doesn't mean
Scrolls
it's
have
accurate.
Dead Sea Scrolls have been passed on for years that indicate the Bible.
Wait, say that again?
Dead Sea Scrolls, like the book of the Bible, has been passed on for years to show where Jesus was, so we know where he was.
So all it is just a claim of where Jesus was. That doesn't indicate to us that Jesus was actually there in terms of the
Well,
tomb.
there other than just the tomb, there's plenty of other stories that have proven that the Bible is true.
Like what?
They found the garden. They found
What garden?
the garden Adam and Eve were in.
The Garden of Eden?
Yes,
Where'd they find the Garden of Eden?
scientists have said it.
Where? Tell me. I'd love to see.
Like everything else,
Where's the Garden of Eden?
dude, like everything the Bible says has proved itself.
No, where's the Garden of Eden? Let me know.
It's the Garden of Eden, man. You can go to it if you go to Jerusalem,
Where in Jerusalem is the Garden of Eden?
southern Mesopotamia.
Really?
Yeah,
Garden of Eden in southern Mesopotamia?
yeah.
You couldn't even say Mesopotamia. Okay.
Yeah.
The location of Eden is
What?
described in the book of Genesis as the source of the four tributaries. Various suggestions have made it for its location at the head of the Persian Gulf. It's in southern Mesopotamia where the Tigris and Euphrates River run into the sea. So it's just a claim. It's a suggestion that it could be this area.
Correct. Which
That
shows
doesn't mean
that
it
that's
is.
where
That's not proof. That's an assumption.
exactly. It's pretty evident that it existed. It was a
And
lot.
even then, right? Even then, if there is a place that you would associate with like a garden that there are descriptions of in the Bible, that doesn't indicate that the events in terms of Adam and Eve actually happened. We can actually look at our particular genetic code, right, to know that there's so much genetic diversity that could not have resulted from the fact that, again, that was our origination point, right? That many years ago. If we're talking in the young earth creationism, there's way more genetic diversity than would have occurred given that amount of time period.
Just beyond like the book of the Bible too, like morals in the world being moral and choosing right from wrong had to have been set up by somebody. If we're just in some utopia, some creation, some planet, there wouldn't be right from wrong. That's where God comes into play and we have free choice.
Wait, so why wouldn't there be right or wrong without God? Because it's dependent upon God's stance. So you just are saying God's morality is subjective. That's one thing.
He's the creator of
Two,
all things. He's the
two when
creator of all
it
existence.
relates to this, how do we know that God exists in order to imply that morality would come from God in the first place? So you still have to justify the point that God exists.
So he gives us free choice. That's the whole point of the
That
relationship.
doesn't tell us that God exists. That just tells us something that God did. So how do we know that God exists? My bad, my voice cracked.
With the facts I gave you and the creation of morality, like it had to be
What
created.
facts?
Like if we just lived in some world where there was no God, then everything would be fine.
Appreciate that mustache. Thank you so much. No, that is not true because morality is still going to be subjective, right? So it's dependent upon the mind. So it's based upon my position, your position, stuff like that, right? Your position would be your position. My position would be my position. Does that make sense?
For sure. So what makes you believe that God doesn't exist?
Contradictions.
Such as?
For example, like the problem of evil. Like, or we can talk about perfection arguments. Would you prefer perfection arguments or the problem of evil?
Whichever one you want to start with.
It's up to you. You choose. Appreciate the cap.
Perfection.
Okay. So do you believe God is perfect?
Yes.
Perfect test taker. What do you expect to see?
Test taker?
Mm-hmm.
Who's the test taker?
Appreciate the handout. Thank you so much. A perfect test taker. That's all you need to know.
Okay. Who's taking?
What do you expect to see?
A.
A perfect test score, right?
Correct.
Perfect free throw shooter. What do you expect to see?
100%.
100% made. Perfect creator. What do you expect to see?
Perfect creation.
Okay. Are we created by God?
Yes.
Are we perfect?
No.
There you go.
But therefore, we are made in His image, and there's several verses that say that we're made in His likeness.
Let's think about it this way. Perfect creator entails perfect creation. We do not exist in a perfect creation, therefore we don't have a perfect creator. So your God doesn't exist based upon that notion.
Because we're not God. We can't be God. We're not perfect. We're not.
What
we're
would
not
be expected
all
for God to have made us perfect if God's a perfect creator?
He didn't
So
make
you're
us
just disputing
perfect.
the idea that God is perfect.
He didn't make us perfect. That's the problem. He's perfect.
Because he's not perfect.
No, he is. That's why we worship him.
That doesn't make any sense. Remember, perfect creator equals what?
Perfect creator. You're talking about in a earthly sense.
No, I'm talking about in God's sense. Perfect creator equals what?
You said perfect test taker.
I said perfect test taker, then I said perfect free throw shooter, and then I said perfect creator, and you said perfect creation. Okay? So perfect creation results from a perfect creator, right? So it is the case that if we do not exist in a perfect creation, we do not have a perfect creator. Make sense?
God doesn't. We're made in His image. I mean,
you can say that God, whatever image, anything, still a contradiction with reality. With reality, specifically.
Disagree. But I think I just feel like the world is evil. Like it's not made to be. That's why Eve ate out of the apple and convinced Adam to eat out of the apple because there's evil. It's a choice.
So it is the case if they are perfect that they would have never ever engaged in that sin in the first place, right? For example, right, God is perfect and has free will, right?
Yeah, He did make us perfect.
And God was tempted by the devil, right?
God wasn't tempted by the devil. We were tempted by the devil.
God was tempted by the devil. It's biblical, right? And it is the case that He never succumbed to that temptation.
Gotcha.
Okay? So because He's perfect, He never succumbed to that temptation, even though He has free will. So if human beings were perfect and they had free will, they could be tempted by the devil, but they would never succumb to that temptation as they are perfect.
No, I just think that's what makes us all unique, and that's what makes us all different, is that we all have flaws and we're all imperfect. We're all different. We all have differences. We're human.
Yeah, we all have differences. I'm confused with what your point is.
Therefore, if you're saying like if somebody's perfect, like if God, you're saying if God were perfect, then we'd all be perfect.
Yeah. Because a perfect creator entails perfect creation. Remember?
No. No.
Flawless creator means that the creation is going to be flawless. Okay, we're not
So,
flawless, therefore we don't
so,
have a flawless creator.
so
And it's
because,
not flawless in my sense, it's flawless in the sense in which God believes in. What God considers flaws.
all right, now what was your other argument?
The problem of evil. Do you think that God has free will? Yeah. Right? Can God do evil?
No.
No. So you can have free will and not have the ability to do evil?
We have the ability to do evil. He doesn't.
No, but you can have free will and not have the ability to do evil.
Correct.
Okay, if you can have free will and not have the ability to do evil,
No, no,
then can
no.
human beings... Go ahead.
You would have the ability, with free will, you have the ability to do evil. You have the
Just
ability.
God would never do it?
God would never do evil.
Never do evil. Okay, so God has the ability to do evil, never does evil. Okay, that's one thing to say. So if it is the case that human beings have free will, can it be the case that they never do evil in the same sense that God never did evil even though he has free will?
Yeah, he doesn't do evil. He only does
Okay, for
good.
example, right, if I were to ask you, can I never sin today? Is that true?
No.
Like can I choose to do that?
Yeah, if you want. I mean,
Yeah, if I were to ask you that tomorrow, is it true?
if you don't sin, I mean that's
Yeah, I can choose not to sin, right?
right.
Yeah, so the same thing is going to be true every day of my life. Is it the case that every other human can also do the same?
Yes.
Tag, thank you for the subscription. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Welcome, Tag. So if it is that case, if this is possible, God sees all the logically possible worlds. God sees one of the possible worlds in which human beings, right, never choose to do evil freely, as every single individual, right, happened to do the right thing in every single scenario and happened to not sin. So that's just a particular expression of an individual's free will, right? Because there are different types of expressions. Like, for example, I could have had Cocoa Pebbles rather than having Cinnamon Toast Crunch earlier. Right? That could have been the case. Those are different possible worlds that God sees. Both of those worlds have free will, but they end in different outcomes. Okay? So there's one world that ends in an outcome and everyone never sinned, right? But they did so freely. So the point is that God has a choice between two different worlds, at least, right? One in which has free will and there's evil, and another one in which there's free will and no evil. So holding free will constant, God is going to prefer the world in which there is not evil, because God has a preference against evil, right? Okay, so that means that we would be expected to be in the world in which there's not evil. So since we exist in a world in which there's evil, that tells us that your God does not exist, because our expectations would have been that we exist in a world without evil.
No,
Does that make sense?
I believe that with him giving us free will, that's what makes the relationship with him a choice. Whenever you choose
Wait,
the way,
both these worlds have free will.
he would choose us because that's what makes there's only one world. There's one world. There's one planet. And
Yeah,
he loves us.
but no. I'm talking about different possible worlds. All of these possible worlds that could have been differently. Like again, me either having Cocoa Pebbles or Cinnamon Toast Crunch, right? Both of these worlds have free wills, right? Have
Yeah,
free
but he
will,
didn't.
but they're both possible. So what I'm saying is that God sees all these different possible worlds or possible expressions of free will, and God will actualize one of the possible expressions of free will where all of us decided to do the right thing. It still is the case that we determined it ourselves. It's just the case that God knew this world existed. And God knowing the world exists does not mean that God caused that, right? Or made you do that, right? So it's still the case that you determined it or there's self-determination on your end, right? But it is the case that God actualized a particular world as that is the one in which led to the greatest good possible.
I see what you're saying, but I would say that he gives us that choice for a reason, and that he loves you just as much as he loves me, and he doesn't love me anymore because I believe in him, and he loves you the same.
Okay, but I don't think it exists because there's a contradiction here. So we just brought up two arguments that entailed contradictions. One, the problem of evil, and then the other one was the perfection argument. Both of these ended in contradictions, which means that your God doesn't exist.
No, they did not. I agree. I can agree to disagree.
What point do you disagree on?
There are several different points in the terms of him choosing a different world over ours whenever he chooses us. Like, You're saying like if there was a different world metaphorically, like in a different scenario, but that's not the case. That's not what it is. That's not what's the what.
I'm not saying it currently is this way, right? Because if I was, then there wouldn't be a contradiction, right? Me saying it's not this way is telling you that there's a contradiction because we would have expected it to be the case that there's no evil if your God exists. Because free will does not entail evil.
It does though. It does.
It doesn't. It doesn't. If free will entails evil, right? That means that God having free will entails evil.
Free will gives us the option to choose good.
Wait. Free will entailing evil means that the free will that God has entails evil.
No,
Do you think that God engages in evil? No, you don't, because that would entail a contradiction.
Yes.
See? You see how you're a contradiction either way you go?
No.
I don't see your dispute then.
Because we're just not seeing eye to eye. But what else would you say that disproves God and his creation for the earth?
Those are two good contradictions. We can bring up a simplicity argument.
Do that.
Okay, so we could do a comparative hypothesis. So I don't think that this is a sufficient explanation for the universe, but I think it's more likely to be true than the theist version, right? Because it relies upon the same base operating assumptions, two base operating assumptions, and then shaves off a bunch of unnecessary things to explain why we exist, right? So we have a theist model where you have an all-knowing, all-powerful, all-good God, heaven, hell, miracles, angels, demons, all these different claims, right? And then you have a different model that says that there's a prior state of fundamental particles in which has the necessary properties to bring about this reality rather than another one, in the same way that God has the necessary desires to bring about this reality rather than another one. Okay, so those two assumptions, eternal and has necessary properties to bring about this reality rather than another one, explains why we exist. And then I don't have to hold to any of the other assumptions of heaven, hell, angels, demons, mind, any of those things, right? None of those assumptions do I have to hold to, and I can still explain why we exist. So if I have the same two operating assumptions as you, and then you just add on a bunch of them, mine's more likely to be true, because if yours would be true, well, then the conditions for mine would have been met. Whereas if mine is true, the conditions of yours are still not met and still have yet to meet other things being true, other assumptions being true in order to explain why we exist. Does that make sense?
A little bit. In your eyes, it makes sense. But
in your eyes, does it make sense?
No.
Okay, so what doesn't make sense?
Because where do you think we go whenever we die after this life?
I have no clue.
You have no clue. Well, I believe that there is afterlife and there's a heaven and a hell.
Okay, but what reason do we have to believe that?
Because there's more to you than just your body, and you're alive. You have a soul to you that goes somewhere. Just like how you have dreams, your soul is connected to your body. It's not like if you go somewhere when you die, you go to heaven or hell. It's been studied.
Yeah, so that's an assumption of your own belief being true, which again, I've already told you entails contradictions. So there's just going to be no reason for me to believe that.
Well, I mean, it's been proven. People have died and came back.
How'd you prove it?
People have died.
So that's called a near-death experience. So when someone is in that particular type of circumstance, there's something called DMT, dimethyltryptamine, that releases in the brain, which produces an out-of-body experience. It's the same type of out-of-body experience that... Have you watched Joe Rogan?
Yes.
Have you seen the episode where he talks about taking DMT?
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, that's the psychedelic, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's literally what releases in your brain. So the same way, do you think that he actually blasted off into space? No. He did so in his fucking mind. It's a figment of his imagination because he's on fucking drugs.
Right.
Okay? So if you think that's a figment of imagination because he's on drugs, well then wouldn't the same thing be true in this scenario?
I think that there's near-death experiences, but I also believe people have stepped into the afterlife and seen either hell or heaven and said that they don't want to go back to hell if they've been there, but have seen heaven. And there's several accounts
Yeah,
of.
I mean, I think that's because you can have psychedelic experiences that are associated with things that you've thought about in the past. So when people have thought about hell, they've thought about heaven, it's been such a huge aspect of their life. They've thought about it so much. Clearly, it's probably more likely for them to experience something in these psychedelic experiences that would be associated with that, right?
I mean, it's kind of hard to argue with somebody's experience and what they saw and saying that they stepped into an afterlife than a hallucination.
Okay, well then someone who has schizophrenia, right? Do you accept what they are seeing?
They're seeing it. Yeah.
Do you accept that it's actually there?
No.
Okay, so if you don't accept that it's actually there, why do you dispute their experience? I thought you said that any type of experience you would just see as like you can't dispute. Appreciate
Because
the hanging lights. Thank you so much.
that's their perspective. It's what they see and the
The
reason
same
that
way
they
that person who's on DMT, that's their perspective.
correct. That's DMT. DMT and dying are two different things. But you said that it's connected, like the connection with the chemical and dying.
DMT, so you have near death experience and it releases DMT in your brain. That's literally what happens. Like it actually releases DMT in your brain. Like your brain naturally has DMT there.
So when we die, we just
DMT releases in your brain.
then we just go into the ground and just
Katie, I appreciate the subscription. Thank you so much.
we get eaten by worms.
Jem, I appreciate the hand art. Thank you so much. Our bodies can be like I
I'm
don't
asking, like,
I
where
don't.
do we go? Like, do we get
I mean,
reincarnated?
you can get cremated.
Like, I'm asking, like, where does our soul go? Like, are we reincarnated? Are we
I don't know.
brought back to life?
I don't even think we have a soul. I don't think we have evidence for that.
I got you. I just want to hear from your perspective, because I know like this is a debate, so I just want to hear like your reason.
Yeah.
So, and just why you believe what you believe.
Yeah. What else do you want to know?
Hmm. I mean, you've seemed to have some pretty good topics, honestly. I mean, we haven't seemed to see eye to eye, and I feel like we are like opposite ends of magnets somewhere in the end of our debate, but I feel like you have some pretty good topics. So, what else would you say in the Bible isn't true?
I can ask other questions. For example, right?
Hmm.
If cops see a P3 raping a child, right? If they can stop it and don't stop it, do they do something wrong?
If they see it and don't stop it, yeah, that'd be wrong.
They can stop it, don't stop it. That's wrong, right?
Yeah.
So God sees a P3 raping a child. God knows it's happening. God can stop it and doesn't stop it. Did he do
Hmm.
something wrong?
It's not up to God. It's up to us.
So why wouldn't you say the same thing in the case with the cops?
Because like that's their choice. If they choose, like I said, if they choose not to do that, that would be morally wrong. But
If they choose not.
God doesn't have that. God doesn't have that.
So why is it morally wrong? Because they're a bystander, could have stopped it and didn't stop it? Well, it's also
Anybody
true with
could.
God, right? God's a bystander, knows it's happening, can stop it, and doesn't stop it.
He's not a bystander.
He
I mean,
literally
it's
is
just,
because he sees it happening. He knows it's happening.
I
Appreciate the
mean,
fireworks. Thank you so much, D. I appreciate it.
I mean, it's the
And he
same
doesn't
thing.
stop it.
It's the same thing. I mean, they're like it's common for Christians to be hypocritical and saying one thing and living out a completely different life, and that's common. But I think when you look at the bigger picture and you also look at the free will, then it shows more that we have control. Like we make decisions, and he can't come down and just like strike the sky and stop it right there. Like that's not what
Why
happens.
can't you? You believe the flood happened, right?
100%.
Oh, here's a perfect question. Do you think that when he flooded the earth, that took away their free will?
What did he say
Appreciate that
whenever
mustache. Thank you so much.
he said something? What did it say about Noah's Ark? It'll rain. Why did he rain? Because they were sinning, right?
Did it take away from their free will?
No,
No? Okay. So prior to the Holocaust, couldn't God just have done the same thing to Hitler?
no.
Why not? That wouldn't have taken away his free will.
Because it's just like whenever Jesus was on the cross and they said, if you are God, then come down from that cross. And like, that's not what he does. Like, he shows up when there's faith, whenever you show faith in him.
So if you don't show faith in God, then you don't deserve to get saved.
No, everybody deserves to get saved.
So then why doesn't God do it then?
He
The
does.
6 million Jewish people that literally got killed. Why didn't God do it for them?
It's a great question of why does God allow bad things to happen to good people? And honestly, to answer your question, it's not like, it's just like how your parents do you think your parents would walk into your room one morning and break your leg and be like, "Oh, this is going to be a lesson. Like, you're going to learn something from this. This is going to strengthen you. This is going to make you better." No, God doesn't do bad things to his people. We have like, it's just like in sports, say athlete gets injured. Can you say, "Oh, God did that to him to teach him a lesson"?
Can you
No.
restate what you just said with the parents?
Like like say your parents, like your just say randomly your dad walked into your room and just snapped your leg first thing in your morning and looked at you and was like, "This is going to teach you perseverance. This is going to teach you how to strengthen you better. Like, this might hurt you, but this is a lesson learned." Like, that's not what God does to us. Like, he doesn't do bad things to us.
What? The Noah's Ark? The book of Job?
Noah's ark Noah's ark wasn't bad.
The book of Job?
That was a flood.
The book of Job? Yeah,
What
drowning
about
little
it?
babies is not bad, apparently. The book of Job?
Who drowned him?
God drowned the babies.
I'd have to do more research on Job.
Do you hold to the Old Testament?
I don't read it that much.
Like, do you think it, like, would you say that, like, it's
Yeah,
true?
I'd say it's accurate.
You do? You would?
Yeah.
So any verse
hmm
I'd give you, you'd hold to it.
Yeah. I mean, for the most part, read one.
Yeah, I got you. So this is Exodus. Um, Actually, no, we'll just go with Leviticus 25, 44 through 46. Your male and female slaves are to come from the nations around you. From them you may buy slaves. You may also buy some of the temporary residents, I appreciate the handout, thank you so much, living among you, and the members of their clans born in your country, and they will become your property. You can bequeath them to your children as inherited property and can make them as slaves for life. But you must not rule over your fellow Israelites ruthlessly.
Hmm.
Do you hold to that?
No.
No?
No.
Appreciate the galaxy. Thank you so much. So you don't think the Bible's accurate in describing what's right and wrong?
No, it does.
Well, then, is that right?
No.
So it doesn't.
No. Read it again.
Okay. I got you. All right. So it specifically says, your male and female slaves are to come from the nations around you. From them you may buy slaves. You may also buy some of the temporary residents living among you and members of their clans born in your country, and they will become your property. You can bequeath them to your children as inherited property and can make them slaves for life. But you must not rule over your fellow Israelites ruthlessly.
I don't know what the context was as far as slaves and what their purpose was. And
Is any context that justified for you to buy people
no,
and pass them on to your children?
no.
Um, how about Exodus 21, 20 through 21? Anyone who beats their male or female slave with a rod must be punished if the slave dies as a direct result. But they are not to be punished if the slave recovers after a day or two, since the slave is their property.
Yeah, I don't know the context of slave and what their reasoning is. Slaves in America and that's a completely different story as compared to Bible
This is
times.
also chattel slavery.
I mean, I don't think God wanted slavery. I don't think he wanted.
That's literally what it says in the Bible.
I don't think he wanted them.
Lucky you.
No, he didn't want them to anguish or hurt.
Huh?
He didn't want them to hurt.
Well, then why did he say that you are not to be punished if the slave recovers after a day or two? Because then they get hurt.
I don't know what to say about that, honestly. But yeah, I don't really know the context of slave. Like I said again,
Is there any context in which slavery is justified?
no. I mean, not. I mean, what like we don't know what they did before and what their serving a purpose is. Like, they could be doing a job. That doesn't mean they're a slave necessarily.
This literally says slave.
You're
It literally says slave and calls them their property. And says you own them and you can pass them down as inherited property to your children.
I mean, yeah, man. Guess I have to agree with it. Because it's not American slavery. It's not what slavery was in America. Like, I don't.
It's literally chattel slavery.
No, it's not.
What do you mean it's not? It literally meets all of the conditions of chattel slavery. Jackson Duckworth, I appreciate the subscription. Thank you so much. I actually cannot, bro. There's no way.
What do you think about scientists that have been converted from being atheist to Christianity?
Are we just going to walk past the point that you just literally said slavery is justified because your book says it?
No, I said I agreed with you.
You agreed with me that it's bad?
I agreed with you that what the Bible said about slavery in that time was correct.
I didn't say it's correct, but like you're saying that you think that you agree with that.
Yes, I agree with you.
No, do you agree with the Bible or me?
I agree with the Bible.
Appreciate the cat.
I agree with the verse that you said.
So you agree with slavery?
Pass them down to their children for whatever.
You think slavery is okay?
Would I right now? No.
No, in this context.
In that time, yeah. Just like, was slavery like, no. Like,
Is it okay to beat people so long as they recover within 1 to 2 days? Like, they should not be punished if they beat their slave that they own.
Yeah. So to reference American slavery to Bible times, I think is crazy. Because
They're both chattel slavery.
No, they're completely different things. American slaves were whipped and they were abused and
Yeah, people were whipped and abused when it relates to this as well, as long as they recover within 1 to 2 days. Not saying it's the exact same type of slavery, but what I am saying is that I appreciate the subscription. Thank you so much. That it's permissible to abuse people under this notion as well.
man.
Are we just not going to acknowledge like literal atrocities because it supports our religion?
I mean, no, I agree with it. I'm telling you, I agree with what the Bible says.
Okay.
Like the Old Testament laws and principles don't like necessarily like validate everything that's gone on like in the New Testament.
Yes. So wait, so what are you saying? Say that again?
Like the old principles, the Old Testament principles, like doesn't mean that they're all still, they've changed. Like things changed through the New Testament.
Yeah, but where in the New Testament does it dispute this?
In the New Testament?
Mm-hmm.
Well, there wasn't slaves, was there?
in the New Testament.
Was there?
So there was like Paul. I'm pretty sure had a slave. I'd have to look again, but I don't know if it's mentioned much in the New Testament. I'd have to check. But okay, well, let's move on to the next point. Like back to the Noah's Ark claim. The Noah's Ark claim. So when it relates to Noah's Ark, clearly speaking, it is the case that you said that it didn't lead to them losing their free will, right? So if they didn't lose their free will when they got unalived, right? Clearly speaking, it is the case that God can unalive other individuals prior to them committing atrocities, and it wouldn't be considered taking away from their free will.
What wouldn't be taking away from their free will? The Noah's Ark.
Unaliving them, like drowning them, like solo drowning them.
How many people?
Because you said drowning them doesn't take away their free will. So if drowning them doesn't take away their free will, God can essentially just drown them prior to them committing atrocities.
I don't think a lot of people drowned in the Noah's Ark.
What? He literally
wasn't-
unalived the whole fucking planet. Liz, I appreciate the subscription. Thank you so
Other
much.
than the people that chose to be on the ark
What?
and believe in Noah. Whenever Noah said it's finna rain, you better hop on the ark. And they did.
No, but he literally unalived all those people, right?
Yeah,
And he did take away their free will, right?
They didn't believe.
Well, I don't believe right now, so is it okay to kill me?
No, but that's what happened though. That's the Old Testament.
Okay. So is it okay to unalive? Is it okay to unalive Hitler before World War II?
He probably should have been.
Yeah. So God could have just drowned him, and he wouldn't have lost free will, and we would have been fine.
Maybe
And
if
millions more people would be alive today.
If Hitler was in the Old Testament, he probably would have.
Why wouldn't he do it now? But he would do it in the Old Testament.
Because that's before Jesus died on the cross. Jesus died on the cross for all of our sins.
So Jesus dying on the cross means that the Holocaust gets to happen?
No, Jesus dying on the cross means that our sins are forgiven.
So Hitler is forgiven for causing the Holocaust?
If he chose to believe